So what's going on, guys? How we doing out there? Happy Friday. Look at this Merlin right off the bat. What's up, man? Welcome. How we doing? TGIF. Wow. This week absolutely flew by for me. I don't know about you guys, but yeah. Seems like I was just doing the Monday broadcast, so let me see if that's out of the way. Yeah. Cool. What's up, Merlin? How you doing, man? How you doing out there? Things are going pretty well here. Progressing nicely. Pretty much got most of the stuff I needed in place now and prep for San Diego, at least for the gameplay mechanics. Today I think I'm going to work on some GUI stuff. Got to drop that in. Doing good. How about yourself? Nice. Doing good. Tried to get the oil change today. Ducked out real quick and found a nice hour long line, so I got to like do that another day. But yeah, no complaints, man. We're in good shape. I don't know. Let me see. I don't think there's actually anything new to show in the game right now, since I'll mute the audio here. Since you guys saw it on Wednesday, most of the stuff I was working on is some behind-the-scenes stuff. Also some new stuff that's going on. But yeah, I don't think I added anything new. Oh no, that's what. Okay. Yeah, I know what I did. I made a temporary web page. Check this out. So, if you go to Tribble Troubles, there you go. So I have a little placeholder web page, right? Nothing fancy, just something I kind of slapped together real quick. But yeah, so TribbleTroubles.com. That is now up and running, and you can see I got a new gameplay video that I just recorded for that. So, and then a couple of just whoa, that's a little large. Screenshots, that kind of thing. Just in prep for, I'm going to start sending this out to press and that kind of stuff. Nice. Thanks, man. Yeah, so I got a nice little background, which I thought the background was supposed to be fixed. Oh well. Not a big deal. So yeah, and I got little links for Twitch for here. Is it responsive? Yeah, absolutely. Check it out. So if we shrink it down, it switches into mobile mode. So yeah, there is a mobile equivalent as well. So there you go. If that is, if you're talking about for that, absolutely. And then also for for this, it just basically it should scale on the fly. Yeah. So you can see the background is scaling and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, nothing too sophisticated. Pretty sweet potatoes. Yep. And then threw together also a press kit just to give some information on the game itself, to show that it's actually being published by Tribble Games, which is the company that has been created to make these games. My company, Scary Robot, doing the development, right? And then the intended platforms, hopefully that all comes together. Now we have the link for the webpage, and then all the links for that kind of stuff, But yeah, so that was a chunk of yesterday, along with some other stuff I had to work on. But yeah, it came together pretty nicely, just for just the hours I sunk into it. So no complaints. But so today, I think what I need to do is add some. Let me see if I got this taken care of here. What I need to do is make it playable, because right now it just sort of like starts, boom, right in your face, right? There's the game. So now I got to get this prepped for San Diego, which is coming up in just a few weeks now. Where are we at now? Like 2.5? Yeah, 2.5 weeks now. But yeah, we're in good shape. But what I want to do now is actually have like at least a placeholder. I don't know if I'm gonna be totally sold on this as a finished product, but at least a placeholder menu screen to begin with. So check this out. I got this thing. So I just started working on this. Now just keep in mind that I'm trying to mimic the Star Trek world, right, without making it a cut and paste copy. If you ever have some troubles with coding for your website, I can always help out. Anyways, I'm going to sleep now. It's late for me, sadly. No worries, man. Yeah, thanks for the offer, man. I'm using a little program called Xara, which does a decent job. But yeah, if I ever get stumped on anything, I'll definitely hit you up. I appreciate the offer, man. Thank you so much. But yeah, head to bed. I appreciate you sticking around just to say hello. I do appreciate that. Have yourself a fantastic weekend, and hope I get to see you next week. All right, man. Have yourself a great weekend. So what I'm going to do here is, you can see I just kind of mapped this out. I mean, there's nothing too sophisticated here. I mean, it's, you know, kind of stylized. And then what I'm going to do is have the intention, bye, later, man. So what the intention will be to actually leave this empty, right? And then hopefully set up this as like an overlay GUI, and then maybe set up a little camera here and a little scene where the Tribble can just on its own kind of run and jump around, right? Kind of just automatically controlled. That is what I'm hoping for, and we'll see if I can pull it off. In terms of inspiration, obviously I'm going for the classic, you know, Star Trek style component boards, right? That was actually just an art reference I liked, which I was thinking about mimicking, but you know, but here you go. Here's classic Star Trek, right? So just using that as sort of like a driving inspiration, you know, I kind of just threw this together. Let's see, I think you know, I like the buttons up there. Yeah, I think the spacing's okay. I'm not gonna get too nitpicky with this thing, because this may just be for San Diego. I may just scrap this all together and start all over again later on. But what I want to do now is just add a little more polish to this, just do some outlines, you know, and I'm going to bust out the old Wacom tablet here in a second. And then try and add some edges to this just to break up. Right now all the lines are kind of perfect, so I'd like to get kind of like toony, you know, varying thickness lines. So that's the goal right now. So there you go. Grab the old Wacom tablet, go that route. I have a very sophisticated setup. I just kind of like set it on the edge of my desk here, right? So what I should do here is probably just create a new layer on top so I can monkey with it later on. Go way up at the top here, and I'll just call this edges. Like so. Alright, and then I'm not sure how I want to approach this. I'm just gonna wing it here initially, but I think what I'll do here, oops, let me switch back. There he goes. Alright, let me move history down here. You know what, I'll move out of the way there. Okay, so, tell you what, we'll start with a darker color. This guy, like so, get a little more saturation going on in there. Alright, and then, let's see, have anything set up here? I do. So just for fun of it, let me see what happens if I, yeah, that's gonna be too thick. And also with flow here as well, so yeah, that's kind of what I'm shooting for. Alright, move my keyboard up a little bit here so I can kind of lock this in a bit better. Alright, just kind of arbitrarily drop this in like so. Actually, I think opacity, I think I want to turn that off and just let it just be, yeah, the thickness. Alright, I'm going to boost that a little bit more. It's funny because, I mean, a lot of the times I'll actually just use the mouse. I've been doing mouse art stuff for so long that I'm actually totally comfortable doing it that way. The only thing obviously is that with the mouse you lose the varying thickness, so I am resorting to doing this, which I quite frankly am a little out of practice on. So you know what, I think I got the edges on this. Let me go ahead and turn that sharp. Let me do that as well. Alright, see if this is getting me closer. Yeah. Alright. Something like this. We'll see what it looks like when I zoom out. We'll see if I hate it or like it. You never know. Just do my happy little trees. Alright, let's see. Yeah, it's actually a little all over the place. A little too much. So I gotta be better than that. Alright, so I'm going to be perfectly horizontal, but I don't want to bounce around too much. It's funny, my artist Daniel, who's given me so much fantastic art in this game so far, he just makes it look so easy, you know, and then you try and jump in here yourself and you're gonna go, yeah, I can do this. No, I can't. Not like him. You know, you just look at his stuff and on its surface it looks so simple, but if you start digging into it, you realize just, you know, how refined the whole thing is. Better. You know what? Okay, I'm gonna come at this a different way because that's just not like I want it. So what I think I'll do is drop this down to like 11. Alright. And then kind of just accent it. So I'm going to go over it like 2 times or something maybe. So you see I'm trying to vary the thickness here a little bit. Oops. Still keep it close to the edge there. Man, I'm serious. So envious those guys and girls that can do this so easily and so effortlessly. Alright, let's see. It's a little bit better. Alright, do I have a eraser on this side? Yeah, I do. Let me actually switch that to 100%. Increase that size. Yeah. Like so. Oops. Maybe it's just because I was too far out. Maybe that's why it's not getting as good as I want it to be. Let's see. Ah. Do I have undo? No, I don't have undo configured on the tablet yet. I used to have it when I had my previous computer configured nicely, but not yet. Yes. Really? How do I switch to zoom? Alright, I guess I shouldn't get too bogged down in this. Like I said, I'm either gonna like refine the crap out of it later on, or I'm gonna abandon it and just do something different in the future anyways. So let me just ease up on this and just kind of say that's good enough for right now. So let's come back in here. Alright, let me shoot the difference here. Tell you what, let's try it this way. I wonder if I go like that. So I'm doing the old shift, so it forces it to be nice and straight. And then maybe if I do it that way and just like accent it after the fact, that might be a smarter move. And it still gives me the chance to vary the thickness at this point. Like that. And I can come back afterwards. Yeah, something like that. Oops. Might have to push that more now that I see that it kind of disappears, so it's interesting. Let me try and go a little thicker here. Nerd it! What up, buddy? How's it going, man? Just kind of plugging away, doing some GUI stuff today. Nothing too exciting, but need to get this done in time. This is kind of a placeholder main menu is what I'm trying to put together today. You know, just so I can have something ready for Comic-Con, which is coming up, as I mentioned, in 2.5 weeks. But what's going on with you, man? What's new? Working on a character animations. Oh, sweet. Okay. Got an arcade game feel to it, eh? Yeah, JB, what up? Well, no, so yeah, what I'm shooting for is actually, since it's Star Trek themed, right? Since Tribbles come from Star Trek, what I'm shooting for is something like that, you know, like the Star Trek consoles. I gotta close that one. That one's just doing nothing. You know, the old Star Trek consoles. So I'm kind of like trying to simulate their panels, right? So that kind of thing. Yeah, Nerdit. So, nice. Thanks. Appreciate that. So, Nerdit. So, talk about the animation stuff. Are you using Blender, right? How's that going for you? Yeah, I definitely need to thicken this stuff up. And yeah, I know how much of a pain, if anyone knows, is me, in terms of how much of a pain animation is to crank out. That has been a bread and butter for a couple of decades for me, and you know, I'm faster now than I've ever been, but it's still a tedious process. The model was made in Blender, but I'm using Unity to oh, really? You're animating in Unity? Dude, you are a brave soul, man. So wait, is it 2D or 3D? Because 3D, there's really not a solid way unless you're using like that Animate Pro, whatever it's called, plugin. So I'm guessing you're using like either Anima 2D or something. I don't know how to import animations in Blender. Oh, well, we can talk about that in a second if you like. Excuse me. JB, I am trying to play with Blender 2. Still not super confident with it yet, but it's interesting. I can make clay models, sorta. Well, that's a good start, man. It's a 3D default animation. All right, so the trick is obviously in Blender is just, and I don't know specifically where it is, but you want to export it as an FBX, right? Like, I'll give you an example in Maya, depending on how I've rigged the character, but generally speaking, it's a matter of just selecting the geometry and the joints, right, the bones, and selecting and exporting it through FBX export. But as I said, I mean, my Blender knowledge is nothing, so I'm not going to be helpful on that one, but I'm assuming the process is similar. So if I just like open up, let's go a Glommer, since I know I have him with actual joints and stuff. Don't save. Yeah. So, I mean, I can do it one of two ways. The simplest way is just sort of like, here you go, just grab all of his body parts and all of his joints, and then just go, and this is Maya, of course, but I assume, excuse me, I would assume that Blender is very similar, and it's just a matter of going export selection, and then just making sure that's set to FBX. But, so yeah, be more specific. What is it about the Blender that's tripping you up in terms of trying to export it out of Blender? Sorry, I was trying to read and talk at the same time, and did not come out well, did it? But yeah, I mean, I would assume that it's pretty simple stuff. I don't understand the difference between animating in Blender and Unity. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, Unity, there's not really, technically you can do it, but I mean, at least for 3D, there's no such thing as inverse kinematics, I think, set up right now, which I'm not sure if you've gotten that far, but the idea with inverse kinematics, IK, is the idea that, like, if you move a body, you know, well, here, shoot, did I close it? No, I didn't. Good. So, for example, so if I grab the body here, right, like this, and if I move it, see how the feet are staying planted, right? And that's inverse kinematics. So I have these joints here, and they're designed to keep the legs pointed to that point, right? and that's a really nice thing to have if you have characters that are walking or grounded. As far as I know, Unity doesn't have any kind of built-in IK. I mean, you can do it through code, I guess, but that's going to get really more complicated. And then you're going to have a much more complicated rig. But, I mean, that alone, and also just, honestly, the graph editor in Unity, to put it kindly, is lacking, I think. Not really enamored with Unity's graph editor right now. It's not as robust as it needs to be. It's kind of obnoxious. So, me as a prima donna animator, I would not want to animate in Unity at all. But I mean, I understand if it's just a matter of, well, you understand Unity better, so you know where the buttons are, where the menus are, and the general approach. I can understand that, but I think you're gonna end up with better results trying to learn the pipeline for Blender and doing your animations in Blender. That's just my 2 cents there, but I just think Blender's gonna have a much better control set and give you better results in the end, I think. But you know, you could totally prove me wrong in that one. I have no idea how much people are doing in Unity in terms of animation. Shoot, I'm sure in the future it's gonna improve, right? Unity is constantly improving stuff until they abandon it sometimes, but you know, but right now I just don't think there's much of an option, unless, I mean, there is a plugin. I mentioned that before. I don't think it's on sale these days, but let me see. Animate. Was it? Oops, I just made it go away. Is it Animate or something? I can't. Okay. Animation. No. There it is. Motion. I was close. Motion, which unfortunately it was on sale a while back for $30. Right now it's back to its normal price of $60. So this is the closest you're gonna get. Now, if you go this route with this plugin, which is $60, it's a little pricey, but this would actually give you the opportunity to do true IK animation in Unity, and I'm hoping that the graph editor is somewhat specific to this, so it may be a little bit cleaner and better to use. I'd still be a little dubious about that. Can I show you how to make animations in Blender smoothly cycle? I can't, just because I literally don't even have Blender downloaded, and the last time I touched Blender was literally 15 years ago. I can show you the basics in Maya, and it would be translatable. So, I mean, if you want to go that route, I mean, let me know, and I'd be happy to do something off of that. But, yeah, unfortunately, like I said, I think it may be 15 years ago that I last touched Blender, and I really hated the menu system. I hated the fact that, I don't know if they, I will figure it out. Alright, buddy, sorry about that. I wish I could offer it. There's got to be some decent YouTube videos out there. I'm sure someone slapped something together to explain that better. But the last time I played with Blender, I mean, I had the ability where you could, like, make menu selections by doing, like, a mouse gesture. And I didn't like it, but I couldn't find the menu. I couldn't find the stuff I wanted on the menu system, and it just, to me, it was more aggravating. You know, but yeah, from what I hear, I've talked to a lot of people, and they're saying that the 2.8, I think, is what we're up to now. I think the 2.8 has actually come a super long way. So I highly recommend it to anyone that's just getting started and doesn't want to drop a ton of cash, which is what all the other 3D programs pretty much require of you. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm crap help when it comes to Blender at the moment. You know, I mean, it's something that I would love to take the time to go back into when I have the time, but right now, yeah, I don't. You know, I'm you know, trying to do the work of like 4 people already, and I'm already feeling like I'm still behind. But and you know, not to tease too much, but if I got some other stuff that I'm working on, if other stuff falls into place, it's gonna get a lot worse. My life's gonna get a lot more complicated, but we'll see. That's all a big if right now, but let's see if I just kind of go like this. Alright, kind of bring that down. Man, I really hate my artist Daniel. I really hate him right now because he just makes this look so beautiful, and he just, you know, it just, I'm so envious of his talent. Ugh, God. I almost feel at this point like it'd be cleaner and prettier if I just went into like an illustration program and did it that way, because right now this is just coming off like muddy and crappy. Wow. Yeah. That's just terrible. Oh man. Alright. You know what? I think I may do that. I think I may actually just kind of come at this way and kind of clean up edges. Where'd you go? There you go. So, yeah. That's a terrible, I have to do it this way, but oh well. I am dabbling in an area that is absolutely not my strong suit. Completely out of my depths at this point, so I'm going to come at it this way. Time to start transfer animations from Unity to Blender. Oh, interesting. Okay, so wait, you're going to export them from Unity back into Blender? I'm not even sure how you pull that one off. Yeah, I mean, definitely feel free to elaborate on what you're thinking there. Alright, so that's actually prettier. You know what? I may just do it this way. I may just kind of like go nuts on the painting. Right? So if I go, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Okay. I think that's going to be my approach here, because I suck doing this otherwise. If I just try and freehand it, it's going to look like crap. So if I just go nuts like this and then shave it back, just using point-to-point select, I think I'm going to end up with something much prettier and cleaner. Almost kind of like using Illustrator, where I'm controlling the edges there. No? Alright. Wait, what does no mean? No, you don't want to tell me, or no, I got it wrong? You have to elaborate on that one. But are you just going to like recreate them in Blender, or you have some system to get it back? Please enlighten me. I mean, I am genuinely curious, because this is something I haven't done myself, but you know, I always love learning new stuff, so please let me know what you're talking. I mean, I'm going to hand animate them again in Blender. Oh, okay, gotcha. I wish there was some way. I mean, you can actually look at your keyframe positions, right? And look, especially for like translation rotation, and copy some of those numbers. I've done that before, right? In terms of translation, there may be a scaling issue, so it may be like a factor of 10 kind of thing, but rotation is pretty much, I mean, you know, 90 degrees is 90 degrees. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Gotcha. Cool. All right, so it's not quite as bad as starting back at ground zero, but it sucks that you have to backtrack, but believe me, my personal thought is that you're going to be happier in the end, you know? It's going to be so much easier to tweak, you know, and I think that you're going to find yourself getting much better results in the end. At least I think so, but, you know, having never used Blender, I can't say for sure, but, I mean, I'd still equate it with something like Maya, like I use. And I didn't even look at that. I did actually look at trying to go that route and doing some stuff in Unity, at least on the 2D side, but decided that their 2D tools to 2D animation stuff, which is still in preview, is definitely not ready for prime time. So then in the end, I had to resort to going back to Maya, which was also complicated, as I talked about before, complicated by the fact that right now, as far as I can tell, there's no clean way to export animation from Maya and bring it into Unity as, oh come on, I can't double click, there it goes, as sprites, right? It always comes in as mesh, which completely breaks the whole system, and I've had to do that quasi thing where I just import it and then I create a bunch of sprites that I overlay on top of it and parent to it, which is kind of a overkill kind of scenario, but necessary at the moment. Excuse me. Alright, better. got a little carried away here. Clean this up a little bit. But yeah, this is a lot better than me just trying to paint it freehand for sure. So let me come back in here. Yeah. And my wife, who is an amazingly good 2D artist as well, she'll just do the lasso thing, and she'll just sit there and just take that pen, just go like that and circle it. And yeah, I can't do freehand. Mine just comes out all jaggy, and so I got to do point to point here. So I'm envious of her skill set as well, but then again, I can animate rings around her. So there, we're even. All right, that's a little edgy right here. So let me kind of clean that up a little bit. Like that. And then this one as well. Once again, I think I'm being totally nitpick. No one's ever going to notice this stuff, especially considering this may just be temporary. But that's just me. Let's see. Maybe if I go like that. How about that? There it is. That's better. There we go. Okay, now I'm getting closer to what I was trying to do by freehand, right? It's you know, you see the thickness flowing around it, right? But just when I did it freehand, man, it was so jaggy, right? And just crappy. So I think this is gonna be the better approach. Walking, talking. How are you? Long time no see. Yeah, man. How you been? Good to see you. Let's see how far back has it been? This does not look like what you were doing last time I was here. Yeah, this might be a whole new game. So yeah, the last one of course was Valley Village. That's out the door, right? And I think I don't know if you were here when I started working on the prototype, but it was sort of like the mystery IP, which I've unveiled since then. Yeah, dude, you're in my age range, so you get this. I actually, if this looks kind of vaguely familiar, this because I'm mimicking Star Trek. I am making a video game starring Tribbles from Star Trek. I have the license for Tribbles specifically. Not much else, nothing else actually in the Star Trek universe, but this is actually a Tribble. So if I unmute him and wait here a second, you hear the little purr. There you go. There is a classic Tribble purr. Right? So that is the game I'm now making. So you see what you see here is basically 2 months worth of pounding away, trying to get this ready for show and tell at San Diego Comic-Con, which is coming up in just 2.5 weeks. And then for anyone that's a total Star Trek geek, they would actually recognize this as being a glommer from the animated Star Trek series. Klingons actually invented glommers, genetically engineered them for one purpose, and that's to eat Tribbles. So that's amazing. He is just a little furball. Whoops. Yep. But he can squish glommers. There you go. Like that. There you go. So yeah, so the premise is, if you remember Tribbles, you know, they're notorious for eating all the wheat, right? All the food supplies on ships. So they're sort of like a parasite. That's the way they're treated. So our little guy gets caught on a spaceship doing just that. And as punishment, the captain actually beams him down into the core of this planet, whose molten core is actually expanding. So if I come up here, you should see the core rising. Oh, not yet. I didn't go high enough. But yeah, you saw the core down there, that molten core. But if I come up here, you should see it rise up here in just a second. That should be high enough. I'll go up here just to make sure. There you go. Squish another glommer. Oops. I just took some damage. And there's the classic Tribble squeal. There you go. So you can see the lava's constantly rising. Right. So the objective here is to get your little furball out of danger, right? Kind of working his way up through all these different environments against new enemies as it goes along. But, yep, just a little 2D furball. Tons of animation in there. He's just a bunch of different little separate sprites of tufts of fur, so I can get a little motion to him. Same with the glommer. You know, he's animated in 2D, but I do little tricks. Very cool. Will this be for PC and phone? Yeah, so the goal on this one will be for everything, right? I'm really hopeful that because I have the name Tribbles in there, that I'm going to have a better chance in getting on the consoles as well. So, I mean, really want to reach out here, probably after I get back from San Diego. I'm going to reach out to Nintendo and hopefully take a shot at the Switch. Didn't work out last time, but hopefully this one they'll be a little more interested. But absolutely, the target will be for PC, mobile, and console as well. So yeah, pretty much across the board, like so. And then when you get up here a little higher, we start hitting. There's gonna be these lava flows that come up as well. Oops, I missed them. Squish. There you go. Oh, almost got it. I'll let him do damage on me so you can see what that looks like. There you go. And here's the lava flow. So you got these you gotta watch out for as well. Oh, I just did that poorly. But yeah, so the plan is absolutely to go across everything, right? This one I really want to try and get it out there for PC and yeah, and mobile, of course. You know, design, I'm trying to balance the two so it looks beautiful, so it looks good enough for PC, but then also plays well on mobile. What are those clouds you are getting? What are those clouds you are getting? Oh, sorry. So you're talking about the things he's collecting. They're not actually clouds. They are those guys. Yeah, so in fact, they're actually Quadritricticale. I can't even say it. Quadritricticale. If you go back and watch the Trouble with Tribbles, that's the wheat, right? That's the stuff, the food that it was the Tribble eats, right? And so the premise is the Tribble's on the ship when he gets caught, and the captain is so PO'd that rather than fish the Tribble out, he just beams the Tribble and his supply of the Quadritricticale as well, which kind of beams down in different positions. So the idea is that this is supposed to be like, you know, it's kind of hard to see over the glow, but the idea is that it's the wheat, and I went in a kind of creative way, and it's actually colored green versus like what you expect wheat to be more like brownish, yellowish kind of haze, but mainly just so you can actually see it, because if it went with the brown or the gold, it would kind of blend in with that environment, right? So there you go. So here's a better example of it just kind of hanging in there. There you go. So that is the Quadritricticale. So the idea would be that if you collect enough of it, you can replenish your health, or you can also get these quasi little power-ups for the Tribble as well, and collecting more of the, I'm going to say QTC. It's easier, I don't screw it up as much. So if you collect enough of the QTC, you can replenish that as well. You know, so the power-ups would be things like temporary invincibility, a health boost, and also maybe like a little sonic attack, right? He's got that, you know, that classic screech, right? Let me go back to my sounds here. Tribble. So yeah, the old classic Tribble screech. Yep. Which, by the way, that was another thing too. I've mentioned this before, but if you're just tuning in, so I have rights to the likeness and I have rights to the name of the Tribbles and the Glommers. The Glommers were created for the animated series, as I mentioned, but that's it. I don't even have rights to the original sound effects, so I had to reverse engineer and try and replicate my own sound effects that mimic it. That's hopefully close enough that big Star Trek fans will kind of go, yeah, that sounds close enough. So, but yeah, the game is in pretty good shape. Comic-Con comes up, San Diego Comic-Con comes up in about 2.5 weeks, and I'm just trying to get this demo polished so people can play it there, offer their feedback, and hopefully get on board and get excited about it. What I'm working on today was creating, if I go back to Photoshop, just a main menu screen, which obviously I'm trying to take inspiration from the original Star Trek show, right? So I'm kind of mimicking those classic panels that we saw in the 60s, right? Yeah, obviously that as well. So I'm not going to put too much effort in this just because I can't say that I'm going to hang on to this. I may redo it completely. So I'm just kind of doing this in a sort of like more haphazard type of way. But now that actually I'm going to come at this a different way, I may dump the Wacom tablet here and just go in a simpler fashion. So, but yeah, so that's it. That's the game in its current form. But yeah, walking talking. What's new with you, man? It's been a while. How you been? Oops. What's going on in your part of the world? Let me see. Do I want to go like that? And let's go 14. Like that. You watch Rick and Morty? Yeah. That is a fun show. That is a fun and twisted show, isn't it? Oops. I regret it. Oh, okay. Why is that? Now you have a total attitude. like Morty. Or Rick, rather. Because now I can not watch it for the first time. I was the same way too, right? I mean, I was a late bloomer, right? I came to it only because Hulu had their deal at the end of last year that allowed you to get Hulu for 99 cents a month. And it's like, oh, okay, I'll do that. Even there's nothing I want to see on there, I'll go ahead and pay for that. And then I saw that, and so same thing, right? I watched the first couple episodes. I'd seen little bits. I had friends that posted little video snippets here and there, but I'd never really kind of delved into it until that time. And it's like, yeah, I was like right in the middle of it. And that's the scary thing about binge watching, is that you have no context, right? In terms of time. So I'm watching away, and then suddenly it goes into, like, instead of saying watch the next episode, it says, hey, watch this show next. And it's like, wait. Oh no. Did I just watch the last episode? Oh crap. I was done. Yeah. But yeah, that is a fun, twisted show. Just really evil, but good. Evil in a good way, right? Excuse me. But yeah, I'm glad you got a chance to jump in there yourself. The episodes felt so short. Time passed too fast, yeah. And I love, there's a couple times too in the self-deprecating humor fashion where they kind of mention about how long it takes for them to actually come out with new stuff, you know. But yeah, I've read that the new season is supposed to be coming like the end of this year, so that'd be fantastic. Although it's gonna be different for me, you know. So we're gonna have to now resort to waiting week to week for the new episodes to actually come out, which is going to be a tough change of pace. You know, you finish an episode and you're just ready to hit play on the next one. I think I read September somewhere. Oh, sweet. All right, come on, September. That'd be good. That'd be really nice. Cool, look forward to that. Yeah. And it's funny, it's like, you know, but yeah, are they going to keep the high standards on the animation? Well, no, actually, it is what it is, you know. I think that's part of the charm of it, is the fact that they just sort of like, you know, don't really put that much effort into it. I mean, the character designs are kind of fun, but, you know, I think that is definitely part of the humor, you know, that they ain't Disney, you know. I put them on par with maybe like a Simpsons, maybe a little more effort than Simpsons. I'm not sure. You heard July? Oh, no way. No, that can't be. Really? I want a link. Hello, Nerdit. Yeah. Okay, if you heard it or read it, if you read it somewhere, please post a link, man. I would love to know that that's the case. But I don't know, because I'm going to be down in San Diego. I hope July. I'm going to have a hard time binging that, you know. And then anytime, oh God, that'd be terrible. So if we get Rick and Morty and a new season of The Expanse, if both of those like landed in July, oh man, I'm just gonna be like completely sucked in. Well, Rick and Morty, I guess, actually have to like piecemeal it anyways, because they're just gonna do, you know, release it one episode at a time, I guess. But yeah, I've heard rumors that the new season of Expanse is gonna come out around that time. And yeah, my wife and I will absolutely just binge watch the crap out of that. That's not going to last long for sure. Alright, so let me try that. See how that looks. That's not bad. Yeah, okay. I think that's subtle enough. Let me do the underside. May have actually gone too nuts here. Let me fix that a little bit. Ooh. Yeah, that's why I'm not doing freehand. That's better. Okay. So if we come up here, do the same thing. Not the ideal approach to do this, I know, but it just works best for me to get the best results, I guess. When they released episodes separately, I like to watch the previous episode twice and next episode once. I was wrong. It's November. Okay. Oh, crap. So once when it's released, and again later for context. Yeah. Oops, let me fix this. Let me come out of here. He's got a link. Oops.
We've got a big announcement to make. Morty, do you want to make the announcement, or? No. I don't want to. I don't want to make the announcement. All right. Okay. I'll do it. Everybody, Rick and Morty is back. Brand new season 4 in November 2019. This year. We're gonna do it this year, 2019. Man, I can't believe we're back. We're gonna be back. I mean, in 2019 of November. That's right. We're gonna be back.
Okay, and then just post that in May. Okay. There it is. Sweet. Yeah, you're talking about going back and rewatching Walk and Talking. I was doing the same thing with Expanse, man. I've gone through the audio books a couple of times over, and I've watched the show since I got that on Amazon. So yeah, I've gone through it a few times, and every time I do it, I always pick up like something new that I missed before, which I love that. So I don't think I'll go back to the beginning again for Expanse, but I'll probably go back to the last season and go through it one more time. When we have the whole season of The Ring, which is kind of funny for me because I mean, having gone through the audiobooks, you know, in theory I know what all's coming, but I love the fact that the Expanse show breaks off a little bit from the book, right? And so far, virtually all of the changes they made, in my opinion, have been absolute improvements, right? You know, I mean, not that the book wasn't good, but they've just done a fantastic job of just adding a little bit more to it, I think. So, cannot wait. Cannot wait for the new season for both of those, absolutely. But Expanse in particular, I mean, I'm total sci-fi freaking nerd, which is why I'm so excited to be doing Tribbles because, hey, you know, not only is it Star Trek, but it's sci-fi, right? Which is just absolute double win for me. And some other stuff I'm working on too. Love my sci-fi. Nice. I feel I gained a month. Yep. Alright, maybe I should come up a little bit here. Dim that out a little bit just to vary it up. Where am I at? Okay, here I am. Coming to the edge. Come like this. Around. Kind of finish that off like so. Alright, now go all the way back. Like so. Hey, Subtix! Hey, what up? Long time no see. Welcome, welcome. How we doing? Hey. So, yeah, I'm on a whole new game now. Yeah, finally got the other one out the door. I would sub, but I don't know how to do it with a credit card without making it take the money monthly. That's all right, man. Dude, I appreciate. My big thing is just having you guys hang out with me, right? I mean, honestly, I don't do this to try and earn cash. I just do it to promote the games and hang out with you guys. So absolutely, man. I appreciate the gesture, but you know, just do a follow, right? And then join my Discord, which I think you're already on there. But, and just, yeah, hang out, man. That's all I ask for. Better since the whole fucking week. Was sick the whole week and only just started to feel better. Yikes. Doing well, man. Things are good here. Let's see, I can't remember the last time you were hanging around, but I'm not sure how far back I should go. The last game that I was working on, Volley Village, is out the door. It has been released. Doing okay. And started feverishly working on the next one, which I'm proud to say is actually a video game that I've licensed and is based on Tribbles from Star Trek. So I don't know your Star Trek knowledge, but I keep meaning to do this. I should have this handy because, I mean, there's a whole younger generation that has no idea, barely knows what Star Trek is, much less what a Tribble is, but, you know, there you go. So for those of you who remember Tribbles, so this little guy has made an appearance in 5 different Star Trek television series and 4 movies as well. Would you mind sharing stats about Volley Village with us, like downloads and such? I'll just say that they're underwhelming. I won't go into too much specifics. Part of it is my promotion campaign was not as good as it should have been. I think part of it was also I sort of, once I had Tribbles locked up, I sort of kind of got shiny keys. I kind of got focused so much on that I did not push Volley Village as much as I should have. I do plan on coming back and doing a better push, but right now it's been sort of like underwhelming, I hate to say. What you mean young? Yeah, I know him, even though I'm probably young in your head. Yeah, well, at this point, pretty much virtually everyone is young to me, so, you know, but yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know how much people know about the old Star Trek series, but, oh, okay. Oh, dude, then, yeah, we're absolutely right on par then. Sheldon Lee Cooper to play in Big Bang Theory. There you go. There you go. Yeah, so Subtext, we're pretty much, yeah, we're like neck and neck, man. You and me. We're both like probably days apart. I'm not, let's see, 6 months, so yeah, I think I'm like 2 months older than you, if that half is very specific, so. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so then you should know the context of this. So, you want to say, I'm an old dude. No, you're still a younger dude. You know, you're 2 months younger than me, so you're still a youngin'. Close enough. But, yeah, so then the two things I have rights to are, as I said, the Tribbles and the Glommers, which are much less known. Tribbles are still a mainstay. Even casual Star Trek fans, I think, know. He said young. Yeah, you know what? You're young as you feel, man. I mean, I did not think I would be this young when I was this old, if that makes sense. I'm happy with the fact that I still feel very young at heart. I feel like yeah, I don't feel a day over, 60. No. So the two things like I said, I have a license to use Tribbles, and as well as Glommers, which were in the animated series of Star Trek, which Paramount says is canon. That's key. So they were genetically engineered by the Klingons to eat Tribbles. So I have both those guys in there, and I mean, if I see the youth today, I feel ashamed and feel really old. Yeah, I get that with my wife too sometimes. She'll talk about it. It's like, oh my god, he's so young, and I go, he's actually in his 30s. And I was watching the old, I don't know if how far back you go, but we now have the Netflix Lost in Space series, right? But the classic one, right? The original one, you always had Dr. Smith, the original Dr. Smith, right? And he was always the super old man who was talking about his delicate condition and how he could go anytime. I looked it up on IMDb, and Mr. Harris was actually 51 when he started doing Dr. Smith in Lost in Space. So yeah, you see that and you kind of go, wow, all right, that puts things in perspective. So I know, doesn't that just freak you out? So here we go. So this is the game, and in my partnership with it does, yeah. So in my partnership with Tribble Toys, which is connected to David Gerald, the original author of the screenplay. So that's my connection, is through Tribble Toys. And the now just recently created Tribble Games, I'm doing this. And, my original idea for the game was much more complicated than this, but I basically got told, no, we want it simple. So what I've done is sort of like a Super Meat Boy, kind of Spelunky sort of game. A little more forgiving. Excuse me, so a little more casual oriented, but there'll be different play modes if you want to go hardcore. And there was a Glommer. Didn't last long. I got to squish him. And the idea is that the green little items here, they're actually representative of the Quadratriticale, the wheat that the Tribbles like to eat. Just kind of dolled up, just they stick out. It's creative license, but it's just enough that, it makes it easier for you to see in the gameplay. If I make it too realistic, it would just blend, and you wouldn't be able to see it, so kind of creative license there. Oh, I screwed up. There you go. He took a chunk out of me that time. I mean, age doesn't really matter, to be honest. I know movies from 1920 as well as movies from 1960 and so on. I regularly listen to music from the 60s. Yeah, me as well, too. It looks fun as heck. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thanks. Well, and only 2 months in, too. I'm pretty proud of the fact that we've made this much headway in only 2 months. Right now, it's me and a very talented artist named Daniel Thomas who's produced all of this 2D art for me. But yeah, and I'm looking forward to, I'm gearing up for San Diego Comic-Con, but I'm looking forward to trying getting a WebGL version out so you guys can actually play it through a web browser. And I don't have a timeline, but I'm hoping to do that before I leave for San Diego, so you guys can play it and offer specific feedback as well. Can't wait. Yeah, thanks. But yeah, going back to what you said, same thing for me. I mean, I graduated with a film degree, right? So my film knowledge goes way back as well. I mean, I love the old classics. I mean, there's just so many great films from back in the day, you know. And yeah, 60s music as well. I'm a diehard Beatles fan, all that kind of stuff. You know, I mean, I'm a creature of the 80s, so there's a lot of love for the 80s music, no matter how bad it was. But yeah, I mean, if you look at my music collection, it definitely skews more towards what they call the geriatric rock era. I should really clean up my editor. I should really clean up my editor? Okay, you have to explain that one to me. I'm not catching the context there, but clean up my editor. All right, you have to expand on that one. I'm not following. So what I'm working on today is the GUI, right? Just the front end GUI, which is probably going to be placeholder. I don't know if I'm going to live with this or if I'm going to alter it later on, but just to get things started. So yeah, and I'm just taking some casual inspiration from the old Star Trek boards, right? Just the stuff that we know and love from the original series. Oh, got it. Oh. Wait, that's all you have on there? Or just the file edit? Yeah, let's see. Because I didn't even look at mine, but... Oh, okay. It's not... No, I mean, I'm not sure what to clean. I mean, that's... Yours actually looks... Oh, gotcha. Okay, now I understand. I see that stuff is all grayed out across, and you have the ones over there. Gotcha. So your Windows goes all the way across. Gotcha. So you were like two and a half times my length. Wow. All right. Yeah. So yeah, I gotcha. Now it totally depends on the project too, right? I mean, you know, every time you start a new project, right? It shrinks down, and then you start bringing in more plugins and stuff, and it starts creeping across, right? You know. I mean, yeah, most of my, you see mine is NGUI and 2D DL, which is doing those beautiful traced lights. Those, you know, it's mostly self. Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, so I guess that does follow you from project to project. Well, that's cool. I mean, that to me, that especially if it's your own tools, dude, don't apologize for that. I consider that a badge of honor, man. You know, absolutely. No, I'd be going, hey, look at this, man. See that? That's me. I'm too lazy to do drop downs since I want all buttons access immediately. You know what? If I was doing it, custom stuff like that, I would be the same way. I totally get that for sure. All right, see if I can blend this together. Okay. Yeah, something like that. I think that might work. Like that. Yeesh. Yeah, I think that'd be good enough for right now. Excuse me. Uh-oh, I just got raided with a party of 7. Check it out. Wow. We have come here from the ramen. We want all the ramen, put an egg in it. Why? Because it's delicious. And we want some extra cashews. We have... You have 24 hours. We will wait. Welcome, guys. Hey. Thanks for the raid, and I am ramen free at the moment, but I can make that happen. If you're gonna give me 24 hours, I could probably make that happen. But yeah, welcome guys, welcome. Hello. Yeah, so let me give you guys a quick. Good. We will wait. Nice. All right, so let me bring you up to date. I don't know if you saw the stuff above there. So I'm 2 months in working on my new game here. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, welcome Raiders. Welcome to all you guys. So this is actually going to be game number 7 for me, and I'm proud to say that this is actually going to be based on Tribbles from Star Trek. Hey, Missy the Moon did a follow. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. So, if you guys, here you go. For those of you, for you youngins out there that do not remember Star Trek, or at least the original series, Tribbles were in the episode The Trouble with Tribbles, and I've been fortunate enough to secure. Cat did a follow as well. Cat Emma, thank you so much for the follow. Wow, look at that. I got the raid and the follows. That's awesome. Thank you so much. So yeah, so if you guys know anything about Star Trek, Tribbles have appeared in 5 different versions of the television series and 4 movies. Most recently, the 2nd of the J.J. Abrams series. And then Star Trek Discovery, right? The captain actually had a Tribble on his desk in his office, which thrilled me. So yeah, I've been able to secure the rights to do a game based on Tribbles. So I always follow the person we rate. Oh, nice. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Nice gesture. So, so yeah. So let me give you a quick rundown. So this is in partnership with Tribble Toys, which has all the rights. So the nice thing about partnering with Tribble Toys is that they're handling all the CBS side of things. So this is kind of a fantastic deal for me that I can work directly with him and he can take care of that burden. I always follow people that I follow. Yeah, me too, which is why I get lost very frequently. So this is still kind of early in development. The game is about 2 months in development right now, but I'll give you a quick rundown. So if you know what a Tribble sounds like, wait here in a second, it'll purr for you. Wait for it. There you go. So there's a purring Tribble. So the idea is the Tribble gets caught on a spaceship. Are you working on it alone? For the most part, yeah, it's me, but I also brought on a very talented artist that I've worked with on and off for the last 10 years named Daniel, who's actually done all my art for me. So he is taking care of the art. I'm doing the game design and animation. I've been an animator for 20 years. Depending on how much TV you watched, you've probably seen some of my work over the last 20 years, or video games. I've animated a bunch of stuff on that. So animation is all on me, and the game design and programming is all on me, but the art is all nice. The art looks good. Yeah, his name is Daniel Thomas, and he's just an insanely talented 2D artist, 3D artist as well, too. Art looks awesome, but I bet you could do it as well. Honestly, no, I can't touch his skill set, you know. I've done a couple of my games I've done myself, and it's one of those things that if budget, you know, my thing is you know, I still take animation jobs, right? Most recently, a couple of months ago, I did work for Santa Clarita Diet, the 3rd and final season for Netflix. So whenever I have jobs like that and I get, you know, more money in the bank, I turn around and hire Daniel to make my art for me because he just does it so much better than I can. I saw him. I think they looked great too. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. It was so, you know, like, but going back, so Poke with Bob, that was also Daniel back in the day. That was my first game a decade ago now, and he did that. And then on and off, most of it has been me. Most recently, Valley Village, although he did help with the character designs. I didn't have as much money in the bank at that point, so all I could do was hire him to do the concept designs, and then I built models based off of what he did for me. Who did the sounds? That would be me. Excuse me. So the Tribble, so funny story about that. So as I said, this is based on Tribbles from Star Trek. I have the rights to the likeness and I have rights to the name, but I don't actually have rights to the sound effect. So I had to sort of like, you know, reverse engineer and Google how they made the original sound effects. And this is me. I you know, so I have that and also like, you know, the screech. So here you go. There you go. So I got the classic Tribble screech as well. The sound effect they didn't want to give you sounds good though. Thanks. Yeah, so it was actually kind of easy. No, well, okay, not easy, but it was easy to track down. Yeah, so it is. It's all in 2D. I'm using Unity's new 2D tile system, which I took a little while to get my head wrapped around it, but I actually love it now. Animation I'm doing in Maya. Bounce over here, so it's all 2D. Here, I'll go like perspective here. There you go. So there you go. I got kind of sloppy in my rigging, right? but when he's flattened out, he's fine. But what I'm doing is trying to do a little trickery with the placement and stuff, so it kind of comes off looking like 3D, right? I always had AA file issues, like lines in between lines. The palettes are well done before you get into it. The rule sets are weird until you understand the rules. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Tile issues like lines in between tiles. Yeah, I've only seen one instance of that, and there's like this one corner tile. This one corner tile, and is only at a certain distance will it creep up. But by and large, I've been pretty lucky with. You know, and here's my tile set. There you go. So, and once again, this is Daniel's fantastic work. I love, man. I'm just so envious of his skill sets. So these are the tiles he custom made for me. So what would happen is I would put together an idea, right, and rough out a very simple mock-up, and then just send him ideas, and I'd send it off to him, and then he would pretty much throw most of it away and do something different. At least for the color space. My color space sense is not nearly as good as it should be, but his is fantastic. So yeah, great work with so few tiles. When I have a couple sets here, so I have that one, and I also have the lava tiles as well. So I have this set, and I did it separate because for the colliders, right? The issue was that if I embedded them in the same layer as the regular tiles, I had no way of separating the colliders, because once you do that, right, yeah, that doesn't work. Exactly. So because I love the fact that, you know, Unity does that unification thing, right, with the actual tile set. You know, I use that composite collider plugin, and it just takes all of the tiles and just snaps it into one, right? But once you've done that, you've lost any separation. Well, better get to sleep. 2 a.m. here. Oh, geez. So have a great time. Everyone, see you. Bye. Cat, thank you so much for the raid, and thank you for the follow as well. You were using 2DDL? Yeah, thank you so much. All right, thanks for coming by. Yeah, I am. I'm using 2DDL for these little blooms in here. I just picked it up like a week ago. I just dropped it in a week ago, and I'm really happy with it. I mean, it's not doing much in terms of performance hit, and I mean, right now I just left on the default 8-ray setting, and there's a little bit of boxing in here occasionally, depending on where you are. Like right here, right? You can see a little bit of a boxing here. Oops, crap. Not paying attention where I am. I'm sitting on the lava. So I mean, like, it's subtle, but the edge here, right? So there's a little bit of breakage when he moves around in terms of like the God Ray shadows, but I'm okay with that. And I just killed myself. To me, that's totally worth the trade-off. You know, I think when you're playing the game in context, it's just like, you know, it works great. I mean, like that right in there, I love that. You know, that looks fantastic. Did you see the new 2D lights from Unity, the preview package? I mean, I did. I think it's a great start. The thing that no one notices that unless they search for it, but they usually understand. You know, if they want to ding me for it, that's fine. But no, to answer your question, I did, and I thought about doing it. The two issues were, let me start with what I like. So the new 2D lights, I love the integration, and I love the fall off, right? I love the fact that you can set the radius and the core as well as the fall off on the outside. That's fantastic, right? Obviously it's missing all of this, you know, the shadow stuff. That's not there, and also preview in general. When I tried to implement some of the 2D stuff in the preview, it just really blew up. So I ended up yanking it all out, and kind of preview scares me. Sometimes even production ready, right? Like lightweight render pipeline is production ready. That still scares the crap out of me. I've tried to drop it in a couple times, and it's kind of bit me, so I've held off on that. I'm gonna give that a little more time to simmer before I try and implement it. Let's see. The new lights look cool. Love it. Thanks. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's still beta, and I don't like to use it either. Unity scares me all the time. Yeah, Unity will still catch me occasionally. There's still things that it's kind of like, wait, why did that just happen? Right? You know? But, yeah. At this point, most of my fear comes from, yeah, trying to use stuff that's still new, right? But yeah, So this is 2D DL, and it was like what, 29 bucks, which I thought was absolutely money well spent. I mean like here, right? I mean that's just so nice. I just love those shadows. That just adds so much to it. I tried to implement the idea of doing the overlay, and I was gonna do, and I may revisit this. I may come back and add normal maps to the tiles, right? So that light can bleed over and have that differentiation. But it just, part of the problem is because of the way I'm doing the Tribble here is he's split up into like 20 different little elements, right? And once I start doing the 2D lighting on that, my draw calls explode on me. Let me catch up here. So what's the mechanics? You can hang out on walls, jump, air jump once, which is reset on walls or ground, and stomp on enemies. I mean, I have projects on 2018-1, and they broke 2018-2. I understand that. Like all prefabs, models, everything. That's why I never update. Yeah, my last game, which I just released a couple months ago, was still in 5.6 for that very reason. Absolutely. Never update. Yeah, never change horses midstream, right? And you never get out of the boat to do a Apocalypse Now reference. But absolutely. So absolutely. You can do wall climbs, right? And you can like drop down. This is kind of a nice touch, I think, where you can hang on to it and kind of let go and re-grab, right? So you can kind of adjust your position on there. And you have double jump, right? You can do 2 jumps, make contact with the wall, and it resets. So you can get that double jump reset as well. Yeah, and as you mentioned, yeah, you can squish those guys, right? And just to show you, I keep closing it. I should leave this open. Glommer. Back to my images. So yeah, so these are the villains, right? These are Glommers that were created in the animated series of Star Trek. And it's really subtle, but one of the things you might note, let me come up to here where another Glommer is, so you can see, right? You'll notice that you can see the rings on his body here, right? But you see that the teeth aren't sticking out. And the reason I did that was because I had that in earlier versions, and people were afraid to jump at the Glommers because they thought that if they jumped on top of them, they would do damage, right? So I had to take the teeth out, and it's really subtle now. You have to watch this. I'm going to put it in God mode, so I don't have to worry about screwing up here. But if you watch, when he attacks me, you'll see the teeth actually pop up for a brief second. Like that. See the teeth right there? See? So the teeth pop out and then go back away, right? So that way, it reinforces the whole scary damage moment kind of thing. Yeah, it looks like that. Yeah. Ooh, missed. All right. So, actually, I should move that text down, shouldn't I? I was set up for 16 by 10 for the longest time, and I dropped to 16 by 9, and now my God mode text is completely off the screen there. So let me just drag him down real quick. And the other sound effects, by the way, were just, I have a ton. I've been doing this for, like I said, I started my first game in earnest in like 2008. So, I mean, I have 11 years worth of compiled sound effects. So most of the other sound effects are just ones from my libraries, various libraries that I've just kind of tweaked. So you're indie for how long? I released my first game at the end of 2010, which was Poker with Bob. And I pretty much went full-time. I started working on Poker with Bob in 2008, just to give you an idea how long ago. So as I mentioned, I've been doing animation for 20 years, but when I started working on Poker with Bob, I still had a day job. So at that time, I was actually doing animation on Halo 3 during the day, and then I'd come home at night, and then I would work on my first game, Poker with Bob. You give up? Oh, you give up on what? On implementing the animation? What do you give up on, Nerd It? Yeah, so quite a while to sub. Oh, dude, I told you, man. I appreciate it, but not necessary. Just hang with me, man. Just hang with me and chat. That's much I can hope for, right? You know, you really want to help me out, like 30 minutes? Jeez, that's 30 minutes you're not going to get back, man. I do appreciate that, but no, spread the word. Bring your friends, right? Get them to hang out with me. You know, you want to help me do that. It keeps on declining my card. Thank you. I really do appreciate the gesture, man. But, yeah, no, just hang with me. Thank you, though. Try it on another day. Don't run against the wall. It's probably in my bank. No sweat. So, but yeah, so it was my first game, took 2 years because it was only nights and weekends. But But yeah, I've been doing it full time. Shut up and take my money. Dude, thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, so like I said, I've been doing it, and then I've released 6 games so far. This one is going to be number 7. You know, and it's been a strange kind of thing where I love doing animation, right? So when I get a call, yeah, so kind of 10 years of indie. Yeah. 10 years of indie supplemented by the occasional animation job, right? You know, it's just when LA calls and they say, hey, would you like to work on this, that, and the other? It's been really hard for me, especially, you know, when the money starts to, you know, get a little tighter, you know, to say no. So and the nice thing is I go back, you know, and right now I moved to Las Vegas, right? I got out of LA. I was in LA for 12 years. I moved to Vegas and lived here for 7 years and love it, right? It's so cheap in comparison. But, you know, if LA calls, then I just kind of race back there, or I work remotely depending on the job, you know, and then I get that LA money, and that I just turn around and put that right back into the game development. So hopefully this one, right, since this one actually has, you know, the intellectual property tied into it, the Tribbles, hopefully this one is going to do some good numbers for me this time, so I can focus more and more on just specific game development and less on supplementing it with the animation jobs. But I mean, I'm still thrilled and happy that those come along from time to time as well. I love Visual Studio. Loading the solution database for the last 17 minutes using 100% CPU and 4 gig of RAM. Jeez, what? I mean, it was like, what? How many scripts do you have, dude? I mean, what? I am still in Australia. Lucky you. Well, it's funny. Actually, my wife and I are talking about maybe visiting Australia. She wants to go on a vacation. I have not done a vacation, a proper vacation. Never left. Since, oh geez, I can't remember the last time I went on vacation. Nice. Good luck with it. I'm gonna sleep now. It's 1 a.m. and I didn't sleep a lot lately. Oh geez, man. I'm bad with the summer heat. Yeah, dude, thanks for coming by, man. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and the follow. Absolutely. So, but yeah, thanks for the visit, for sure. And hope you can come back some other time, too. Yeah, 1 a.m., so you're, like, on the other side of the planet. But yeah, dude, I appreciate you hanging out like you did, for sure. It's C++ and 4 gigabyte server file. Oh, jeez, no wonder. I will visit from time to time. Please do, man. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which you can translate to your time zone. But yeah, just plugging away. So I hope you can do it. I'll be taking a break in San Diego Comic-Con, which is in the middle of July. But aside from that, I should be here. Watch out if you don't like having the blood rush to your head. I wouldn't recommend it. You will be walking upside down. Now, actually, I have been in Australia before. It would not be my first time. Actually, but my first time I was 6 months old, so I don't think that really counts for much. My family on my mom's side actually comes from Australia, so we visited family, and I was, you know, not aware, but I would like to go back. Right? We're talking about September, so I'm guessing it's gonna be just nice and toasty at that point, right? I think that's when it starts getting boiling down there. Yes, I think. But and I like heat. Actually, I'm okay with it, right? I mean, why would you move to Las Vegas? Why would you move to desert if you don't like heat? And opening 800 megabyte in NPP wasn't a great idea either. Jeez. Yeah. Okay, there could be a cause and effect relationship there. You know. See, that's one of the great things about being a crappy coder is that, you know, you write as little as possible. So yeah. So let's see. Here, let's go comparative here. So let me come into my player. Here you go. Double click. 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 5 1000, 6 1000, 7 1000, and we're there. Yeah. Sorry, that's nice. But now this is my brand new computer too. I mean, I've only been using this computer for 6 months, and it's all running on solid state drives. So just super fast compared to what my previous one was. But I also, there's not much going on here. If we look at my scripts, well, okay, I do have a bunch of scripts, but they're pretty small. They're nothing's really that long. But yeah, I'm very spoiled at this point. I appreciate that fact. So but yeah, hopefully, yeah, Sub6. So hopefully that does open for you here in the near future. Let's see. All right, so let me head back into Photoshop and see how this has come along. It's okay. I upgraded to 32 gigabyte just for deving, and compiling I'm doing on my home server with 256 gigabytes and 48 core dual Xeon. Jeez. Excuse me. That okay? Now that redefines Monster Machine. I'm probably 32 for my RAM. I mean, I literally, let's see. I don't even know offhand, but let's see. Where's my PC? Why'd you come off, dude? Go back. I don't even have it on there, do I? Let's see. System. About. What have I got? Oh, 16. I'm running on just 16. That's embarrassing, isn't it? In this day and age. Wow. Yeah, that's it, man. That's absolutely it. The RAM was real cheap, to be honest. Only paid $300 for it. Jeez. But yeah, that is a ton of memory for sure. The CPUs though, combined were 800. Ouch. Wow. Yeah, I'm sporting a what have I got? Like mid-range. I think it's a mid-range i5 on this one, which, yeah, once again is good enough. Nothing all that sensational, but it's good enough to keep things going. All right. But yeah, I'm envious, man. What kind of video card are you sporting in there? Or is it? I mean, if it's just dev stuff specific, maybe you're not killing it. But I'm just curious because all those other specs are just so brutally high. I'm just curious if you're just rocking some 2080 or something beautiful like that, or you're just doing Intel on board. Oop, there it goes. Alright, so yeah, I like this approach. Guess I could just do a little bevel action on this too, just to completely sell it. Alright, why are you not letting me scale? Photoshop, I hate you. There it goes. Alright, let me get back up there. Get this back out, like so. Jeez, why are you dragging? I'm not still running, am I? No, that stopped. That's weird. Photoshop's being a jerk. Let's see. But compile times aren't great, even though I have so much capacity. With Incredibuild, I'm up at 30 minutes incremental compiling. Jeez. On my dev machine, Titan, the server doesn't have one yet. Okay. You do have space for it in there? Yeah. I had a 980 rocking for quite a long time, which I was really happy with, and actually won in a contest, which is kind of sweet. It was, which one was that? Leap Motion. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. That's the thing that kind of like Connect, but it works with your hands. They had a competition a few years back, and I submitted a game to that, and actually won. I was fortunate enough to win, so I got myself a nice 980, and then this machine came with a 1080, which I'm pretty content with. I've not really played games on it yet. I've been so busy making my games that I have not had a chance to play any games yet. So I have not tested the 1080 in terms of performance, but yeah. So far, at least for dev side, I've been pretty happy. All right, whoops. All right, the thickness is way too much there. And I got the wrong color. So let me go this way. Funny thing is, my redundant power supply of my server died half a year ago, and it's as expensive the RAM I put in. It's like, really? Jeez. Wait, redundant. Wait. So wait, are you talking about like an uninterrupted power supply, UPS? Or are you talking about your actual power supply? Whoa! It's really? 2 kilowatt? I'm rocking 600. You know, I'm rocking a measly 600. Jeez. So I mean, is that really mandatory because of that brutal Xeon that you got on there? I mean, that, jeez. Does it glow much? I mean, God, that's a beast. That's impressive. Oops, let me not actually go there. Let me just kind of start here and come down. Ow, come on. Stupid twitchy hand. Just in it right there. That should be enough. No, the server has 2 power. Oh, the server does. Okay. If one dies, the server is still able to run. Oh, sweet. I just run everything on my GPU. Yeah. Oops. Let me move that over a little bit. Let me just tweak that a little bit like that. Much more reliable. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Well, that's fine, but I mean, there's still stuff if you're doing like code compiling, right? You got to be CPU based for that, right? I mean, you can't throw that on GPU as far as I know. But I mean, I'm talking about my butt here. That's not my specialty, so you can correct me if I'm wrong there. All right, let's see if I can get this going a little bit. Let's see. Like this. Where am I? Come on. How far down? Oh, I got a ways to go. Okay. There it is. Here's the end. Alright, just clip it right there, I guess. I won't push my lock. Let me come back up here. Just take this out. Like so. Alright, see if that looks okay. Yeah, it actually looks pretty good. I got a GeForce GTX 1080 Ti. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I got a standard 1080, which, like I said, I talked about it before, but my setup is I do like a dual boot, so that way I can't just fire up games on my productivity system. I have to switch modes, and I have not set up this new computer yet to actually run in game mode yet, so I have not tried out my 1080 yet. Peasant. Yeah. No TI? Get out of here, peasant. Since Microsoft isn't able to give us a good way to do multi-core compiling, I had to resort to a third-party application, Incredibuild, which is expensive. Let's say this. I pay something like, whoa, $500 a month? Are you kidding? Wow, jeez. That's okay. I mean, but if it works for you, that's great. But man, I'm too cheap for anything like that. $500 a month. Incredibuild. Well, it better be incredible for $500 a month. That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I'd hit compile and walk away. Right. Yeah. But that's interesting that Microsoft hasn't made any effort to come up with anything like that. You know, I don't know if that's something that they're going to look into, or they're just kind of like, you know what, there's other options. We got bigger fish to fry, so deal with it. But that's crazy, man. That's a lot of cash to spend on it. But I'm guessing you have enough work that it covers it nicely. So, you know, I mean, like with me, you know, I'm paying for my LT, but I'm paying a measly $20 a month. You know, but I mean, I got enough animation stuff that it's justifiable. But I still, I don't know. I'm just a bit of a cheapskate, I guess. But even that, I'm kind of like, geez, that's $20 a month, man. I am more of a programmer than a hardware expert. Yeah. Also, they have a shitty license model. You pay per core. Oh my god, really? Oh, that's even worse, man. That just compounds it for sure. Wow. I don't really know the difference between one core and multi-core. Threading. The nice thing about a multi-core is because if you have a single core, everything piles on there at the same time, and it's like everyone trying to, like a minivan, right? And you have 20 people that are trying to get on the minivan, and they all go in the same door. You can see how that jacks up, right? But if a minivan has like 8 different doors on it, right, then there's 8 ways for them to get on the vehicle, and they can just go faster. So same thing with multi-threading is that you can have multiple jobs go on the different threads, right? So as a result, you can get processing that goes through faster. Yeah, it makes sense since more cores means faster compiling, so it saves more time, but it is shitty. Yeah. Weird analogy. I know, it was just off the top of my head. I don't know. I was thinking about clowns or something. I have no clue why it went that way, but you know, just first thing that popped in my head. You never know, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much, you know, just the fact that, you know, you can have different tasks. You know, one could be like AI, right? You know, and one could be, you know, different tasks. So it allows the game to be much more robust, I guess. Subtext can probably clarify that. I mean, I'm, you know, obviously not the strongest in this kind of stuff, but I think that's a generally okay explanation. So let me see if I throw a little bevel on here. That's a bit much. Maybe I could just kind of cheat it in there a little bit. Yeah, I think that'll look kind of good. Oh shoot, I'm on a separate layer in this guy. That's not good. Let's see. Discord attachment. I think Mono likes you. Okay. Random. Wait, why can't I hook that in? There it goes. Alright, there we go. Get that out of the way. Alright, so then how did I get this separated? Oh, that's weird. No, all those guys are together, right? But then when I did the bevel, it seemed like... There it goes. Alright, that's much better. There we go. Okay, I'm liking that. I'll probably smudge this out a bit more. Drop this down to like 6. Turn that off for a moment. Blend this out a little bit. So I guess I was looking at, I thought that was a streak in terms of my edges here, but I guess that might be the the bevel here, kind of creating that. I'm not crazy about that, so I may try and just tweak this a little bit. That's better. Some middlewares for games are just crazy expensive too, like Euphoria. Yeah, Euphoria, I remember that. Which just got bought by Zynga. Really? It's somewhere in the 100,000 range. Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that Euphoria got bought by Zynga. Yeah, I mean, yeah, when it first came out, man, just the videos were just so fantastic, you know? I mean, I just loved it. It was like dream ragdoll stuff for sure. But unfortunately, yes, yeah. But I mean, that was, yeah, same for me. I mean, that was always out of my price range, never a consideration. But but yeah, it is definitely a really cool plugin. Let's see, just as sad as Facebook buying Arachnid. Yeah, yeah. And then what was the other one too? Was it Amazon that bought GameSpark? I think that's another one. That was another victim. Or I still cry every day because of it. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Can't laugh. But yeah, I understand that, and that's obviously one of my concerns too. I mean, Amazon licensed CryEngine 2, which is kind of sad. Yeah, with the Lumberyard, right? And I guess, but they forked it off at this point. I think it's sort of very much their own. I mean, I'm not even sure how much CryEngine is getting developed these days. I know those guys are sort of like hanging on, but yeah, a friend of mine here in Vegas actually, a gentleman named D'Angelo does videos, you know, tutorials on Lumberyard, and he seems to like it. But I'm trying to like ease him back over into Unity land. Yeah, I'm not sure how robust Lumberyard is these days. I don't know, but excuse me. Yeah, but Lumberyard is, let's say, even worse than CryEngine. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay, so they made it their own and did not improve. That's good to know. Wow. Yeah, if you're gonna take something, right, you know, and improve it, you should actually improve it, right? Documentation is basically non-existent. No good example projects, no cheap assets, etc. No tutorials, nothing. Oh wow, that's a heck of a selling point, you know. if you have to ask, don't use this program. I mean, is that sort of their mantra? That's kind of scary. Wow. Yeah, I mean, and for me, it's one of those things that, you know, after a decade of using Unity, they own me at this point. I mean, yeah, I know it all too well, and you know, I mean, I literally have a couple hundred plugins, so I'm not going to be going anywhere anyways. But let's see, Lumberyard, is that C++? I'm not sure what that is. I think that's what CryEngine was, wasn't it? Was C++? Sort of like Unreal? Or am I wrong on that one? Or is it Lua? I can't remember. You obviously have a lot more experience in that, so you can clarify that. But most of the people I spoke to, Lumberyard is C++. Okay, it is C++. Oh, and it is C# as well. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I just thought it was C++. Most of the people I spoke to, why they don't consider Lumberyard is that they don't want to be bound by AWS. Yeah, scary. Basically, Amazon has one rule to use Lumberyard, and that's if you have to have a game on and it's online, you have to use AWS. No way around it. Yeah. So yeah, my last game, actually, I started off using AWS for the longest time, Valley Village, which is an online multiplayer game, and the last minute, long story, but the last minute I jumped ship and moved over to Microsoft Azure, and I'm okay with it, but it's one of those things that if I had half a brain, I would actually probably switch back. I think AWS in the long run would actually be cheaper than Azure is for me, but it's not enough of, you know, a financial burden that it's making me shut down and move it over, but I really should, I think. Is the expensive version. Really? You think okay, that's interesting, because at least, you know, for my game, and maybe it's just because the smaller user base combined with the little amount of data that I had actually going back and forth, but it just, for whatever reason, it seems like Azure has been more expensive for me, even though I'm doing less with it. But, I mean, and I think, unless I totally screwed up, I think I'm doing apples to apples. I think I set Microsoft up with the bare minimum, and I mean, my game has very little data going back and forth, right? I mean, I streamline that as much as possible, but it seems like Microsoft kind of nailing me on that one. I have a couple of projects on Azure, and calculating back and forth, I ended up with paying $280 a month more in AWS than Azure. Really? Okay. Then I guess I gotta shut up, because right now mine is mine is a fraction of that price. So I'm just gonna go ahead and shut up at this point. But no, I mean, so my previous game, Valley Village, literally the only information I'm sending back and forth is when you fire, I send over rotation, server time, and velocity, and a couple of updates here and there. So I mean, it's just there's nothing that's really getting updated in real time, with the exception of the gun turret, and even that I'm only sending a float of rotation 10 times a second. So I mean, there's just not much information ping-ponging back and forth, and there's really nothing happening on the server. Server works as a matchmaker, but then the game from that point on basically just becomes peer-to-peer, and the server is just working like a conduit at that point. I do AI calculations, physics. Oh, jeez. Yeah, okay, no wonder. Yeah, absolutely. That definitely changes everything for sure. Yeah. I would love to have done that, right? But, I mean, this is the first time, you know, I'd ever delved into the world of online. You know, and I was so over my head just from the beginning that I chickened out and just went peer-to-peer route. And it's like, well, you know, but aren't you worried about people cheating and hacking? It's kind of like, if the game is that sophisticated, I'll worry about that problem when it happens, you know, and so far it hasn't happened. So, not really concerned, at least not anytime in the near future. I haven't looked at it in a long time, but when I started with my project, I maxed out my 48-core server. Wow. And 512 gigabytes of RAM usage. Jeez. Okay, yeah, you were definitely much more hardcore. Yeah. Mine's nothing in comparison. Mine's like the equivalent of running Notepad in the background, I think. Although 256 gigabytes of it were page file. Jeez. Oh, for the AI? The AI throwing all that stuff? That's crazy, man. Impressive, but crazy. Alright, let me clean up this top side. So, I'm probably spending way too much time on this. This is definitely going to be temp stuff. You know, my hope would be to actually maybe even pawn off the GUI stuff onto someone else that could do this exponentially better than me. But right now, it's just out of financial necessity that I'm still tackling myself. Why did you double click? Why did you double click? You're an idiot. You do not double click at that point. You're such a spaz. So I should not be devoting this much time to stuff that's probably just going to be for the demo in Comic-Con, and I'm probably going to scrap this whole thing. So the fact that I'm devoting as much time as I am is just a stupid idea. But, oh well. That's me. Kind of having fun doing it. I just wish I was devoting this much time, I would get better results, but not necessarily my forte. Let's see. Come on, I gotta be reaching the edge here. There it is. Like so. Alright. Like that. Let's come back over. Anytime now. There we go. There are over 30 servers running, multiple for each area, and 10 to 20 beacons. Holy crap. Okay, can I... Alright, so, dude, I gotta ask, man. Do you mind talking about what it is you're actually doing? I mean, can you share that stuff? I mean, I'm just fascinated by this stuff. I mean, this is, like, way beyond me. But I would love details if you're willing to share. Oh, shoot. I got a smudge. There he goes. But yeah, if you're up to it. Well, I mean, I mean, is this just your development, or is this like an actual game or something that's running using this stuff? Because you're talking about the AI stuff, right? So I'm guessing that's like an active game, or is this just stuff that's currently in development? I mean, I would love to see the context of what you're doing there, for sure. Private. Got it. Understood. Say no more. Dude, 20 years worth of visual effects with NDAs all over the place. I understand the concept of, I would love to tell you, but no. So, understood, man. But yeah, that's crazy. That is just so far beyond my little rinky-dink setup. Absolutely. Way beyond. And this looks like crap now to me. Let me try and put this back down this way. Turn this off for a brief moment. Oh, that's why. All right. I should bust out the Wacom tablet for this, I think, but I'm just gonna be stubborn and go with the mouse. I can say that the basics is not from me. Gotcha. Okay, fair enough, man. But I mean, that is fascinating. I mean, so how does that compare? I mean, I'm a total neophyte to this kind of online stuff, obviously. So how does that compare to some of the other, you know, like other games that are out there? Uh-oh. My Canaan alarm system. I think I'm getting delivery here. Getting a arcade cabinet that I'm gonna go ahead and put together for San Diego. So I will have not one, not two, but 3 arcade cabinets, bar top style, right, at my table at San Diego Comic-Con. And I think that's the 3rd one getting delivered right now. The basis is made as MMO, so it can support over 1,000 players online at a time. Wow, that's cool, man. I'm impressed. Totally impressed. That stuff is so far beyond me. Yeah, I mean, I did that one dabble in online multiplayer, and that's probably the last one I do for quite a while. I mean, I'll do some local, you know, some co-op or that kind of stuff, but yeah, online stuff, yeah, no, I'm done, man. That's just ended up being like a year and a half for the development time, and I think a large part of that was just the trying to figure out all the online stuff. I mean, getting online to work was one thing, but getting it to handle all the edge cases, to me, was an absolute nightmare. I actually prefer the Unity animator than the Blender animator. I will stick to Unity. Dude, Nerded, sorry, man. I didn't mean to steer you the wrong direction. Sorry about that. All right. Excuse me. So, I mean, is it... So, what are the... Tell me what the differences are that Unity's doing that makes it more preferable. I mean, is it just you're able to drag stuff around faster? Or you just... I mean... If you're not actually messing with the graph editor, right? If you're not doing any of that stuff, then I could understand why what I was talking about has no real relevance. But yeah, I'm curious. All right, so I'm gonna try and get sneaky here because that just took forever because I suck at this. So let me try this. I'm gonna try and see if I can shrink this in like so. Maybe flip it. Like so, and then edit, transform horizontal, like that. There you go. All right, cool. That's gonna save me a ton of time. All right. Well, I copied all the transforms to from Unity to Blender, and Blender completely stuffed up the movements. Fair enough. Also, it's using its own database format. Oh, insane. Which is really, 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 to the power of 10, quick and small. Over 200 player data is like 10 meg. Wow. That is so cool, man. That is, I mean, I'm mostly artist, right? So the programming side, I mean, I'm always impressed by that stuff. It slightly resembled running, but it didn't make it look realistic. Gotcha. You know what, then, dude, I apologize, man. I did not mean to steer you in the wrong way, but hopefully that wasn't too much of a waste of time. I mean, it's even if it's a waste of time, it's kind of cool just to know for a fact that that's not the way to go, right? So I wouldn't say that was necessarily a total waste of your time, but I apologize either way. Alright, why is that not blending for crap? Maybe because I'm at 30? Let me try and go bigger with that. Nah, most of my time was me trying to sub to you. Yeah. Alright. Oh, that's right, because I'm on a different layer on that guy. That would make sense. Cool. And I keep trying to do that. Let me... Alright, he's the outer. Let me just... Oh, that was crappy. Alright, let me clean up this side. I'm going to leave this alone and move on to something else. So that's going a lot slower than I thought it would. And it's still looking like crap. Ugh, I hate that. And it has a deeply integration with its own version control system. The game has a built-in editor, which you can edit levels, check out a level. The level is then locked, and nobody else can edit it. Then you can check it in. Wow. My idea of version control is copy folder onto my NAS drive. I know that's not right, and I get so much grief over that from all my friends. It's kind of like, why are you not friends with GitHub yet? But yeah, I know. Just that's the dangers of being a one-man team, is that you kind of go the simpler route. But yeah, that's kind of a bad thing to do. I know that. So let me see. I'm gonna dial this down a little bit. I think. Let me depth. Try that. The depth on this one as well. Dial that down to like 20. All right. I think this is gonna be okay. He was cheesing me. Let's see. Turn it off. Oops. Alright, let me see. Is that the edge coming through there? Yeah, it is. Alright, I gotta clean that up a little bit. Let's see. Why you not good? Why not? The Discord? for a one dev team, it's okay, but if you work with over 100 devs, artists, and such, it's not possible. Oh yeah, dude, totally understand that. Absolutely. What, the Discord? Why is it not working? What do you mean? Why is my Discord not working? I'm not clear on that. Not Discord. Oh, my Discord link? Oh. Did it disappear down there? Here. Here, I'll pop that up right now. Let's see. Where is it? There it is. No worries. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, the button down below should work, but if it's messing up, sorry about that. So there you go. There is my Discord channel, which I encourage everyone to please join. Come on and say hello. I'm always on there. As I say, unless I'm sleeping, I'm always on there. I love the error message. C++ Windows is giving me unexpected error occurred. Application has to exit. Yeah, that's clear. That's absolutely clear, right? Just don't do whatever you have no idea what you did again, right? Alright. Actually, I'm going to do a quick restroom break. Hang tight, guys. Just give me a minute, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Nerd it, you're right, man. I haven't done a bombing raid in a while. I'm falling down on the job. Here you go. Here's a massive wave of bombs. There you go. Aha! Cheeky little bugger. Found the issue. Guess my server doesn't like... Negative is a timestamp? Yeah. Going back in time. Wait, I hope that doesn't mean like all that time you just spent you have to redo again. Just to address that one issue. That would totally suck. I hope that's not the case for you, man. Don't even know how it got in there. Well, it's because all those cores. All those cores, you hit 88 miles per hour, and then it just time traveled, right? So you just basically, your computer just went, poof, right? Went back and came back. It's kind of like the things I saw. Alright, let me try this. I'm still not liking this yet. It's the timestamp of in-game mail sent there. Oh, interesting. But it's a system message, so WTF. Yeah. Alright. Let me try this. Let me go select. Mode selection. Because I'm still not really happy with this yet. So let me just come up with yeah, this guy. And let me just go big on him like this. Alright. Yeah, I think it's just a situation where I'm just kind of overthinking this. I was trying to get too fancy, and I don't think I should have bothered. Select, load selection. I mean, I was unhappy with it, and then making it, just putting more bells and whistles on top of it did not help it. When in fact, that's probably all I need right there. Yeah, that'd be good enough. I love it when Unity is taking a sweet time to load play mode. I hate that, man. Yeah, and you just kind of like, wait for it. Wait for it. Yeah, when I was on my last machine, when I was running like 5.6 on certain projects, yeah, I would just kind of like stare at the ceiling for a while, watch a movie or something. Especially that first one too, right? I mean, it's obviously writing a what I can guess is just a massive mess of temp files, but yeah, it does kind of suck. Let's see. I'm gonna try and see if I can get a cheat in here. Photoshop. Variants. Let's see. Nope, that ain't it. Let's see. I don't want to watch a video right now. Just trying to find. You know what? Forget it. Error in C# script line XYZ? What? I'm gonna play a quick game of Warframe, then get back to work. No worries, man. Nerded, thanks for coming by, man. I appreciate you hanging out, and I genuinely appreciate the attempt at the at the sub. Thank you so much, man. But yeah, thanks for coming by. Hope you can come around next week as well. I will keep watching. It loads and loads and loads, and then error while I play. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. 2 monitors. Yeah, I'm the same way, man. The main one is a 21:9, and I have the 16:9 beside me. So that's cool. All right, man. 3 monitors. Yeah. Which makes you wonder, is like, how do we survive back in the day with like a 17-inch green CRT, right? How did we not go insane? Oh, probably because we were like 320 by 240 resolution, I guess, right? So that wasn't much of an issue. All right, just kind of clean this up a little bit. Edges here just a little too funky, like that. And let me go paint, select, and do that. Boom. All right, that's okay. Who needs that mini? I've seen worse, man. I've seen setups that were like, at a certain point you kind of go, how can you even tell what's going on in anything at that point, right? You just got so many monitors. 4. How about that? You happy now? That's weird. But I don't have bevel tied on, so where's that? Oh, because I got the flow going? How about now? No? I have something on top of it? Oh, there. Okay. Oh, crap. Am I painting the wrong one? I am. Like an idiot. Alright, that's it. You guys are getting merged right now. There. There we go. There. That's much better. Let's see. I was thinking about getting a third. Right Twitch. Left game debug. Middle programming. Nice. Nice setup. Thinking about getting a 4th. Why not, right? To host the 4th. Yeah, I actually have that. I have a above there, I have a 720 old Toshiba television that hangs on the wall, which is completely neglected. I thought I'd have it. I would just like put TV up there or something, but nah. I just put it on the monitor here. I just, you know, looking up. So it's nice. I mean, it looks cool, and you see that, but it really serves no practical purpose. Could your computer handle that? Why not? What struggles to open Visual Studio? I can't do 720. It will mess with my 60 hertz. Oh man. All right. Try and clean this up too, like so. That's good. Like I said, my artist Daniel makes this look so freaking easy. Ugh. Yeah, that's just still looking like crap. All right. Also, having a 4K and 2x1080 is a nightmare enough. Yeah, my 21x9 is not a 4K. It's like 3600 by like 1200, something like that. Oops, sorry about that. I had to turn off one of my tablets that turned on. Always get caught on the edges. Yeah, I got that as well too. I mean, I took the 1080 and kind of like tried to position it down in terms of the display. But I still catch it sometimes, and that is annoying. So yeah, like here, like I don't know if you can see that. I'm hitting the wall there, but then boom, there, there's the threshold to go to the 1080 screen. So yeah, I'll do that sometimes. I'll scroll over, and it's like I look over to the 1080. It's like, wait, where's the mouse? Oh, he's still over. Mouse is like, I'm stuck. Left is 30-inch 4K. Nice. Holy crap. By 120 hertz. Middle is a 55-inch. Oh, dude, now I'm just getting jealous. 1080 60, and left is a 27-inch 1080 60. That's a pretty nice setup, man. Yeah. I need a bigger desk too. It's embarrassing. Actually, my computer desk is like my wife's old IKEA table. So, the inverse is sophisticated, but you know, I liked it because it had a nice amount of space, right? But it's nothing to look at. I'm definitely not gonna pull the camera back and do any kind of glamour shots of my quasi office anytime soon, because it's just kind of embarrassing. I mean, I started with the 27-inch, bought the 55-inch, and now start off the year I bought the 4K for 280 euros. Wait. The 4K is wait. You got 30-inch 4K for 280 euros? Jeez, man, are they getting that cheap now? Oh, I don't want to know that because I'm gonna start looking. No, I can't. I'm fine with my 21x9. I'm gonna just shut up. I'm just gonna shut up right there. It was on eBay as broken. Oh, geez, that's scary. But the only thing that was broken was the box. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, my 21x9 was actually an open box. And so they knocked, it was on sale, and they knocked an extra like 50, 75 bucks off of it. And it was, ended up being like half the price of what they normally charge. I got it home, and it was literally, all they did was like, they pulled the stand out and put it back in. So the TV still had the plastic sheen going across the face of it. The monitor did. So I could tell that it was never even set up, which is, to me, I was like, oh, there's a win. I love it. And I've been so happy with it, man. I mean, I repair electronics as a hobby. Oh, geez. Okay. So, yeah, you were equipped. So you were all set for this big, okay, let me delve into this. Let me get this working. You're looking, kind of go, wait, that's it? Oh, that's anticlimactic. I bought a PS3 last week for 15 euros as broken. Bought parts for 5 euros, and now I have a working PS3. Nice. Yeah, my poor PS3 has been subjugated to just playing DVDs and Blu-rays. I got a beautiful little projector system in the main room, and I call it my movie room. And yeah, my poor PS3. That's all it does now. I mean, I want to play games. Just I want to sleep more than I want to play games. So until I can find the time to do the other. I have so many games I want to play too. I mean, like I have like Zero Horizon Dawn. Just waiting, still in shrink wrap, still waiting to be played. My wife got it for me for I think Christmas, my birthday. I can't remember, but just sitting there neglected. I have so many great games that just I gotta play them. I just need an aircon now. XD, it's 30 degrees Celsius in my room, 86. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I think my room is probably around 84, 85, but once again, I'm in Las Vegas, which means that it's incredibly dry. Excuse me. And I mean, I actually like it warm. So for me, mid 80s is actually very, very comfortable, especially since there's no humidity. And that is without server. That's without the server running. Yeah. And one of the things they do here in Las Vegas is the houses. My home's 2 stories, right? They have separate air conditioning units for each floor, which is pretty trick. I like that. With a server running, it's more like 38. Oh, jeez. What is that? That's 90s, right? For Fahrenheit. For us loser people here in the U.S. that still work off of Fahrenheit. Alright. I keep tweaking this. I really just gotta let this go, don't I? Oh, stop. Why do you do that? Alright. I'm gonna stop playing with that. Don't like it, but I'm gonna leave it. Okay. Oh, it's 100. Oh, jeez. Okay. Yikes. Alright, I haven't hit Control S in a long time. So I'm hitting Control S right now, just in case. Call that screen edges. And I'm just going to move on to something else because that's just taking way too freaking long. Alright, so here's my buttons. So I'm going to introduce a layer in between so I can try and do the console. Yeah. Alright, let me see if I can do this better now. Since I, in theory, have a quasi-system for this stuff. I'm going to go darker, so... Let me go... like so... Or should I go lighter? Maybe I should go lighter with this one. I'll try that. Good thing I haven't put the server into the server room at work. Let's see. Let's go 8. About 3 weeks ago, when it was raining like crazy, our roof leaked into the server room. Oh, jeez. All right. Yeah, so you get kudos just for not doing that, right? Yeah, that'd be a nightmare. Oh, all right, nerd it. I saw the, yep, I saw that on Discord. Sweet. All right, you're on there now. A piece. Oh wait, air condition. The server room is dead because of that, and around 2 servers worth 30K are dead too. Oh, wow. All right, so hopefully there's insurance. Yikes, that's scary as hell. Wow, 30K each. Jeez. What kind of servers are those that are 30K? I'm so far out of the loop. The last time I messed with servers, I was like working at Sony ImageWorks, and those were like, I mean, we're talking 19 years ago. So I mean, they were like old SGI machines. I mean, like insanely archaic old machines that got replaced with HP blades while I was there. Don't know yet about the third. New HP Pro is with 256 gigabytes RAM, 20 terabyte storage, and 24 cores. Jeez. All bought just end of last year. Wait, and that's before the leak hit, or is that after? I hope that doesn't include those guys. Oh man, that's terrifying. Oh, before. Oh, that sucks, man. jeez. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that make a nerd cry. I would just like tear up over that, you know. Leak was 3 weeks ago. Oh jeez, that's too bad, man. Right, so if I go like here and then down here. Oh, that's how that. Okay. Didn't know it did that. So go here. Down here. Oh, sweet. Idiot for not knowing that. Alright, yep, that's pretty good. Cool. And then, let's see. Yeah, just tweak this a little bit. Yeah, I cried because I wasn't there to save them, and they say they're broken. Like one of those war movies. I should have been there, man. I could have saved them. Alright, I'm going to drag this on top for a moment so I can see this better. Alright. Be a little more judicious this time. Come like that. Yeah. Hopefully this will look better. Getting so fed up with doing it this way. Especially I'm devoting all this time and I'm really not happy with the results, but probably gonna leave it be. Just worry about improving it some other day. Alright. Should be enough right now. Swing back over, take that out. And can't even really see the effect. Oh god, I'm an idiot. Oh jeez. One of these days I gotta learn how to do this stuff proper. Okay, so maybe I need to go further in. And take him home. Nurse him back to health. Alright. I feel pity for myself having to work on a Unity 4.6 project with GUI. Yeah, no way. I like GUI. Yeah, I've been using GUI for a ton of years, but I tried to move up to UGUI, and I went back to GUI. But the 4.6, dude, I totally pity you for the 4.6. But so, what's your preference instead of GUI? Is it UGUI? I'm guessing. You hate GUI? Okay. Yeah, I got really frustrated trying to switch over to UGUI. I just my biggest thing was the scaling issue, right? Of trying to get it to work. And I mean, this was a couple of years ago, so I have no idea if they've improved it, but I just had so many issues with anchoring all the GUI stuff and getting it to scale correctly for various size stuff that I just got so fed up. I just, yeah, I'm going back to GUI. My preferred would be C++ and primitives and Cocos 2D. Fair enough. UGUI and TMP, yes, TMP. Okay, I plead ignorant on TMP. Oh, Text Mesh Pro. Oh, got it. Okay, gotcha. Okay, no, fill me in. One of the reasons I steer clear, obviously, since I'm still in GUI land, right? But Text Mesh Pro, I read stuff and they could be full of crap, but that Text Mesh Pro just didn't have as good a performance. I was reading that if you use TMP, if you use TMP, that you're actually going to see a performance hit. And since all my games in the past have all been in mobile land, right? Performance is key to me, of course. But you can let me know if that's just bogus, if that's just kind of crap talk. I would be curious. You know what? I wonder if I just did like a warp. God, if that's all I needed to do all this time, I'm gonna be really kicking myself. All right, let me clean this up a little bit here. Not noticed that yet, and I work on a couple of mobiles too. Okay. Okay. Do you know if TMP would actually behave well with NGUI, or is that kind of like, dude, why would you cross the streams on that? I can say it's probably not a good idea. I mean, well, I don't know, because if you're using UGUI and TMP, so you're still taking the TMP and sort of like parenting or constraining it to UGUI buttons, so then the UGUI is driving the scaling, and then TMP just goes along for the ride? Is that the approach? I'm really curious about that. I mean, I'm willing to jump ship if I believe that I can get the same stuff going that I have now, just without the headaches. And the learning curve stuff always drives me nuts, right? When you find yourself at the bottom of the learning curve again. Oh, it does. NGUI, okay. And TMP works fine. All right. Cool. So, okay, then I guess the follow-up question too is, I mean, obviously with TMP you get the advantage of doing big squash and stretch, and it can spin around and do kind of goofy stuff like that. But, I mean, are there any other key advantages of using TMP over just the NGUI built-in text as well? Is the crystal clear text? Oh, okay. So it just comes off really super sharp. Interesting. I guess I should do my homework on that better then. I guess I should look into it. Alright, so let's go edit, transform, and try warp. Let's see. Yeah, and that breaks the edges. Of course it does. But let's see if that looks more interesting or if it's still crap. At this point I'm getting more into playing than I am actually producing. But, oh well. Yeah, no, that's still crap. Like font textures in 4K by 4K look really good. Oh, I bet. You could go even crazier with 16K and 16K. Yeah, you know, since all my stuff is predominantly has been mobile in past, that might be a little overkill. But so it's interesting. Wait, so does NGUI limit that? Can you can't do 16K for NGUI stuff? I mean, I've never pushed it. I mean, most of my fonts are, I keep them down at like 512 anyways. You know, and just never make them that big. You know, never abuse it. Would use mesh render. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. The TMP without UGUI uses mesh render. Oh, okay. Alright, so let me play with this a little bit. Wow, it's only 5:19. I'm starting to get a little hungry. Why is that? Uses canvas render. Gotcha. Mesh render. Interesting. UGUI is not really optimized. Okay. That was the other thing I'd heard too. So maybe that was maybe that's sort of like TMP was getting blamed for performance due to UGUI's shortcomings in terms of performance. So, or maybe I'm just combining them two in my own head.
Give up. Just shut it down and go to bed. Come on now, you're killing me. I fought demons and dragons.
But yeah, that's interesting.
Balrogs, and you're the one killing me. Let's call it a night, Shane. I'm serious now.
Coming out like so. If you have a lot of widgets in UGUI and just one updates, the whole canvas has to be updated, which is a huge performance. Yeah, of course. Yeah, if it's having to redo everything. Wow. And I mean, that's not, is that something they just kind of go, that's the way it is? Or is that something that goes, yeah, we know that sucks and we're going to prove it? I mean, I know that was always the case in Unity's previous GUI setup, right? Where, you know, no matter what you did, I think it redrew it every frame, right? I think that's what the previous one did. Let me swing out there. It's how Canvas Renderer works. I guess that's Unity for you, right? That's sort of like, you know, my first couple of games were all done in Unity script, just because, once again, not a coder, right? I'm an artist, not a coder, so Unity script was a good way for me to get started. And I noticed things were changing, right? Like IntelliSense went away for Unity script, and then someone pointed it out as a bug, and Unity responded by going, "We're aware of it, and the situation will not change in the future." So like, whoa! That's when I started desperately shifting to C# and trying to get myself up to speed, you know, because I knew Unity script's days were numbered. And then, I mean, about 6 months later, they did the announcement going, "Yep, it's getting sunsetted." It's like, yeah, I call that one right. Okay, I'm glad I've been switching then, you know. But now my situation is, I have my 3 earliest games. I literally cannot load, right? Because I have to rewrite the whole thing from scratch, because I can't load the earlier versions because there's no 64-bit support, so Apple's gone, right? And I can't bring them up to date because Unity won't touch the old Unity scripts. So that means I gotta rewrite all the scripts and also replace any dead plugins. So that's one of the key reasons why some of my older games don't get updates. People will ask sometimes, it's like, when are you gonna do this, that, and the other? It's kind of like, you have no idea how much of a nightmare you're trying to ask me to jump into there. Let's see. Broken I've stuff. Yeah, Unity can do that sometimes. I mean, my biggest grind with Unity is how that handles stuff. They depreciated HL API and LAPI of UNet, but have no freaking replacement. Yeah, well, kind of like they did that with the web player as well, right? Right, where they're gonna like, oh yeah, web player's dead. It's kind of like, but so we should use WebGL now? Well, no, WebGL doesn't really work yet, right? But it will someday in the future. But then you just appreciated our web player. Yeah, sorry about that. I hated that, man. That really drove me nuts as well. There's a converter from Unity that converts Uniscript to C#. Yeah, it's a free one, but from what I've read, it's sort of been like mixed results. You know, and that'll probably be honestly the way I go, right? When I actually have the time to go back and revisit my older games, I will definitely try that. But just I haven't really had an opportunity yet. But yeah, probably what the choice will be. They just say we're working on it, right? Biggest issue would be particle systems. You have to remake them. Excuse me. Wait. You're talking about the current particle systems? In regards to, excuse me, in regards to the GUI, or are you just talking about the particle system in general? Because I thought that was actually vastly improved versus what was in the past. Or is that really not the case? I don't really use a ton of particles. I'm kind of stingy with those just because, once again, mobile focus, so I tend to be use them pretty sparingly. Yeah, let's see. Gotcha. All right, when they were switching gears. Gotcha. There was that dead time where there was absolutely nothing there. They removed particle emitter and stuff. Gotcha. Yeah. I agree. That always does scare me. That's like you know, I co-host the Unity user group here in Las Vegas, and a bunch of people have talked about you know, ECS. It's like, or dots, right? I guess Unity's calling it dots now, right? And everyone's going, hey, you gonna switch over to dots? And I'm kind of going, yeah, no. It looks exciting, but until I know that Unity's not gonna dabble in it for a while and then like wipe their hands and kind of go, never mind, and ditch it. No, I'll stick with, you know, OOP, right? I'm gonna just stay with that until I believe that dots is real and is not gonna get dumped like UNet, right? I mean, because UNet was there for a while before they just sort of like arbitrarily went, yeah, gone. That's the kind of stuff that terrifies me. Oh crap! No, that's not what I want. Edit, transform, warp. There it goes. Yeah. Oh, that's too big. Shrink that down. 5. That should be good. There it goes. To be honest, UNet was never particularly good. Yeah, that's funny you say that because So my previous game, I keep referencing, so it's called Volley Village, right? I started off using Photon, right? And Photon was working great for me, right? But I was scared of what happens if Photon dies and your game dies with it, right? And then Unet finally came out of beta, so I jumped onto that. And the thing that scared me was that Unity was charging by the meg, right? You know, or by the gig. And for whatever reason, it was producing like 6 times the data that the other guys were producing. It's kind of like that was going to get expensive fast, you know. So then I started thinking about going back to Photon, but then I looked at, in the end, I ended up using Kombu for managing player data and to ShareNet, TNet, for the actual multiplayer stuff. And it turned out fine in the end. You know, it's now nice and self-controlled, but yeah, that was kind of a wacky kind of trip to go through. I wrote my own network implementation somewhere in 4.6 and used it since. Oh, sweet, dude. I'm so jealous of that. That's, yeah, obviously you know it's not going to go anywhere. Obviously you can adapt it. That's fantastic, man. Oh, wait. So, Combo's okay, but their implementation is. Well, dividing line. For someone that can roll their own, you can definitely trash it, 12 ways to Sunday. But for someone like me that has no idea how to properly approach that stuff, it was a godsend for sure. Cheaply made and insecure. Really? Okay. I thought it was actually pretty decent on that end. Well, I guess the fact that my game is not is not giving Fortnite a run for his money is a good thing. So I don't have to worry about anything getting in there. But I was actually very careful of that as well too. If you hacked into my Kombu, you would be very disappointed to learn that there's basically nothing there. I got no passwords basically. It all stems off of connections to Google Play or Apple. So there's really nothing for you to find, except a username, which comes off of their account anyways. So I was really scared of that, of getting hacked. So there's no good info on my server at all. Yeah, no, you're right, but you deserve better is what I mean. Yeah, it would be nice, but it's it was what was available. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Biggest issue is every game needs a new implementation since there is no fits-all solutions. Yeah, it's like a one-size-fits-all shirt. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying there. Absolutely, totally get what you're saying. But and it was a fun experiment. It was fun to dabble in the concept of how it would be to try and actually pull that off, right? I completely underestimated just how complicated it's going to be. Of course, I'm in shock, right? But yeah, I'm glad I did it, but I'm not repeating it anytime soon. I mean, I'm happy to go back to single player with maybe like a leaderboard, right, that gets handled by whichever platform we're talking about, so I don't have to worry about that stuff. So the game can actually be developed in a fraction of the time. That's why I love Coco's 2D so much. Oh, sweet. Okay, fair enough. Dabbled with it, but I haven't really jumped into it much. But yeah, I know that people that are fans of it. Well, I mean, okay, no, that was a thing too, because I did look at Coco's, right? Especially when I was thinking about 2D stuff, but it seems like there's not much in terms of back-end support like Unity has. But once again, for you, not an issue if you can actually roll your own, which, I mean, I'm, like I said, very envious of that ability for sure. Since it's trying a one-size-fits-all, but it doesn't suit you, you can just choose to change how it works. Oh, nice. Gotcha. If you have the capability, right? Which you obviously do. Yeah, for me, I'm completely reliant on others and their plugins, to save my butt. Pretty much in all capacities. I mean, that's why I literally have so many plugins. There you go. Alright, yeah, that's coming off a little bit better. So, yeah, I'm actually doing this one much better. I did this one up here. I might revisit that. That's fine. Yeah. Simpler is better. And yeah, I mean, the games I'm working on, like I said, no more online stuff. No more anything that sophisticated. Not for a long time. You know, like I said, at most, you know, maybe like a local multiplayer, you know, off of a local LAN or something. But yeah, nothing over the internet for a while for me. Not unless I grow into like a legit big company and I have people that can figure that stuff out that are way beyond my skill set. Biggest issue is in Unity, a lot of people learn C# wrongly. Okay, like Brackies, he's maybe a good guy, but his tutorials teach wrong coding practices. Interesting. Please elaborate, because I can almost promise you that I am a textbook example of doing it wrong. I mean, it runs, but is it done the proper way? Probably not. I mean, and to be honest, actually, most of my stuff has not been from videos. It's mainly just been like looking at other people's code, especially like plugins and stuff, and sort of like reverse engineering what they do and parroting it. So most of my learning has come from just borrowing other people's codes, which is a terrible approach, I'm sure, but just sort of like a necessity for me. Let's see, because I mean, never taken any formal classes or anything. Uses linear interpolation and then uses time delta for t. Okay. So he's doing a lot of stuff in just standard update and using time delta time for the processing. So what would be the better approach then? I mean, because most of my stuff I'm using fixed update, which, I mean, you can yell at me if that's the wrong approach. You know, I mean, with the exception of like joystick inputs and stuff like that. And for those, I would actually be using delta time as well. No. Linear interpolation works. Please talk to me like a 5-year-old. So no, please fill me in, man. I mean, you're educating me better than a Bracky's video would do anyway. So yeah, if you have the inclination, please elaborate. Let's see. Oops. Like so. Come back down here. There it goes. Done. It's an interpolation between 2 points, and that's linearly. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. No, that makes sense. Right. So, I mean, if I do transitions, I'll usually fall back on the DoTween plugin, right? So that way I can kind of control the eases, the ins and outs for those kind of things. But gotcha. So you're just saying that in the Bracky's videos, no matter what they do, they don't have any kind of eases. And if that's the case, then, you know, I'm actually implementing something that does do that. But, you know, it's, well, I mean, let's see. Yeah, I got tweening on this. So if I just do example, let me find when it's actually active. Yeah, so like do move. So for this one, so this is like when the character dies, right? So I just do 2 consecutive do tween moves, and then you can see here I have a set ease out sign. So, you know, when it flies up in the air, it, you know, comes to a stop, and then I do a ease in sign, so it does an acceleration as it comes out of it. So if that's what you're talking about, then actually I am using workarounds to accomplish that as well. So I'm not doing any kind of linear interpolation for sure. But okay, gotcha. If you're then you don't need to use delta time. Only if you use an exponential, which is nonlinear. Lerp with delta time would be if you would do. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Delta time, which would be utterly pointless. Right, since it's already managing it. Gotcha. All right. Okay, cool. So then I'm inadvertently kind of doing it the right approach, but yeah. And then, yeah, so, and I've done that too. So the only time I guess I really do use delta time would be if I am doing a lerp. So let's see, just out of curiosity. There goes my alarm. Let's see, if I do a delta time. Alright. None of this is me. Let's see if I have anything here that I'm actually... Yeah, okay, that was testing when I was trying to figure out how I want to do control. So I did a delta position. Because I was also implementing Corgi's 2D plugin, and I sort of like undid it. Sort of did my own modifications, but I don't think I actually implemented this. So I declare it. I guess I am using it there. Okay. But I mean, that is a linear kind of transition too, so... Am I actually using... Okay! Okay! Doggies. You see an issue right now? No! Wait, how do I cover the screen? No! Yeah, like what you're seeing right here. You're in fixed update, but... Wait. Oh, crap, you're right! You're absolutely right. Let's see. Am I actually using movement there? Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, delta time actually serves no purpose because fixed update is... Right. So that was probably me just going from update and dragging it over and making the adjustment and not going back and cleaning it up. Yeah. Yeah, time delta time, and it's, yeah, I got it in a couple places here. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think what happened was I had it in update, and then I bumped it over, and because the numbers were working cleanly, I just didn't want to delete it, because then I'd have to go back in and adjust the velocity value, my specific modification stuff, so I was just being lazy. But yeah, totally busted on that one for sure. Yeah. Why do you have a delta time which is completely meaningless when you have a fixed update which is obviously in its own cycle repeating? So, yeah. Oh, wait. No, check it out. Player controller old. Yes. Wait. Check this out. That's my old player controller when I was still doing my testing. Hold on. Let's go to my player controller. I may be off the hook here. Let's... Delta time. There is no delta time. So my player controller, the one I'm actually using, I'm not using delta. So I'm off the hook, dude. Delta. Oops. Yes. There you go. I saved it. So yeah, that was, as I was talking about, that was when I was still trying to implement the Corgi 2D plugin, and if it does exactly everything you need, then you're in good shape. But if you need to do something outside the box, it becomes a bit of a bear. So that was me trying to test, you know, but inadvertently, in the process, I started over and figured out my own way. And so yeah, now let's check out my actual movement here. Yeah, fix updates, transform. Let's go. Yeah, update level segments, that's fine. Yeah, so yep, I'm off the hook. I love you already. I see serialized fields plus privates. Is that okay? Is that sort of like the same thing as why would you have a private if you've tossed it? I thought, okay, now tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, this is, you know, a bit... I picked this up from other people's coding, so I thought serialized field, the idea was that once it's compiled, right, it becomes inaccessible again. But serialized field allows the editor to have control of it until compile time. Or is that not the case? Maybe I'm totally wrong on that one. You know, or is the private redundant there? I mean, that's could be the case. I mean, that's, once again, that's me. A serialized field is a new thing for me to this one. I did not use it before this game. The inspector doesn't have access to private fields unless you declare serialized fields. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Right. Gotcha. So, yeah, so I am correct on that one then. So, right. So that allows me only in the inspector, but once it goes into compile time, boom, that accessibility just disappears. At least that's the way I thought it worked, and that's what I was trying to shoot for. Okay, good. So there you go. So I'm not as bad as I thought I was. Yeah, but if I showed you sort of like my earliest stuff, like with Poker Bob, my first game from a decade ago, that would be embarrassing. I was literally, I did not even know about. I knew the concept, but I did not even know about the implementation of mod at the time. So I was doing divide by 10, cut off the the remainder, and do the process again repeatedly, which was just embarrassing now, you know. So things like that, right? But I mean, just I had to learn because I mean, you know, this is me just completely making up as I go along, right? Without getting any kind of proper guidance. So I mean, it's not surprising that I did a ton of stuff that makes no sense, but you know, over the years I've learned you don't do it that way. Also, serialized field will make the variables be, how do I say this? Excuse me. Yep. How do you say it? Get me on the edge of my seat now. Alright, so I haven't messed with that one yet. No, I have not. Alright, come up with it. I don't think I messed with this one yet. If so, I did it poorly, because I don't see much of a difference. Oh, I guess I did. Alright, so let me get out of this one. Like so. There it goes. Alright, let me tuck them down underneath the buttons. There you go. That works. Okay, let's do this example. A field without serialized field, which is private, cannot be state saved, which means if you're in play mode, recompile the value of the field will be lost if it's not marked serialized field. Alright, so is that kind of like static, as in like if you reload the scene, the variable holds that value again? Or let me read that again. A field without serialized field, which is private, cannot be state saved, which means if you're in play mode, recompile the value of the field will be lost if it is not marked serialized field. When you recompile. Alright, but if it's serialized, wait, so if it's serialized, you can actually change a value at playtime and it retains that? Is that what you're saying? Which is fascinating. I had no clue that it did that way. So let me, for example, let's come up here. Let's find a good float. Damage duration, for example. Then the value of all private fields will be lost that are not marked. Okay, so for example, damage duration. So if we take this bad boy, for the fun of it, right, and change it to, from 1.5, we'll change it to 15. And if I hit stop, okay, no, it still went back to 1.5. All right, so it doesn't retain the value after you stop, so I'm not quite following. Change something in your Unity will recompile your code, correct? No, I don't think it does. Because every time you, if you make any change while in runtime, it just breaks the hell out of it. You get tons of errors. So, okay, so like here I have a value of 1.5, right? So if I hit play, and let's check here. So damage duration is a serialized field as a float, right? So you're saying that if I come in here and I take that 1.5 and I change it to like 888, hit enter, right? It loses references. Okay, because of the serialized field or not? Then it goes back away. Alright, so I'm losing you on that one, because I thought you were saying that if you have a serialized field, it will retain. It's not when you go out of play mode. Okay. Dude, this is all, I mean, I love it, man. This is all good stuff for me, because this is, I mean, serialized field is a new experience for me anyways. You know, I just thought the main purpose was that it hid it from runtime, making it a little tougher to get access to it, but still allowing the inspector to get access to it. Play mode change code Unity recompile value will be lost without. Oh, gotcha. Well, because I mean, it seems like if I ever change anything at runtime to my code, it just absolutely breaks stuff. So, for example, let me just do this. If I hit here, right? If I come in here and let me just change something, let's say is equal to 5, whatever, like that, and hit Control S, right? Now it's recompiling, and normally I get just a string of endless errors when it completes. And it's thinking. Yeah. So in this case, yeah, 2DDL and Corgi are throwing endless errors at me. So just my own personal experience, I've always found that whenever I try and change a script, change anything in a script at runtime, excuse me, it just makes Unity just go bye-bye. So I always do this thing where whenever I change, do like this, whenever I change a value, right, and then hit Control S and then pop out and it starts doing that and I still have it in play, I rush up to hit stop the play before it gives me endless errors. Because it loses, okay, it loses references. Oh, gotcha. So these are examples of how it, but even though I'm not touching those, so even though I made a change onto something different, that the ripple effect affects other scripts and I'm not even touching, I guess. Whoa. All right. Blowing my head here. Just blowing my mind. Okay. But at least tell me that is the case what I'm thinking about with serialized fields. So one of the advantages is that it does sort of like lock it out from runtime, right? The basics how Unity compilation works is this. All right. Go for it. Educate me. I'm all open. Yeah, that looks so much better than that. I'm redoing that. Even though I spent all the time on that one just sucks. Alright, maybe I'll just do it on these others. Alright, so let's come back here. Whoa, that ain't the right size. Let's go 15. Yeah, that's good. Alright. Unity text changes, serializes the whole level, all game objects, and saves it temporarily. Then it recompiles the code, reloads the DLL, and then reinitializes the whole level with the temp save from before. Gotcha. So, I guess the bottom line is that it has nothing to do with the line of code that I changed. It has to do with the fact that the other plugins aren't designed to have a adjustment made at runtime and not have it go boom. It's a field and class is not marked serialized field serializable. It will not be temp saved, thus losing its state. If the field or class. Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. So if I did like a new project right now, right, and did no plugins from the outside, right, no third-party plugins, and I just did it my own script, and I made a serialized field x equals 4, do the runtime, and at runtime I go back into my script and I say x is equal 20, Control S, and come back in. It'll recompile, and it'll suddenly change it to 20 and it won't error out, right? Actually, I'm curious. You know what? Let's just do it. This is totally fascinating. No, not a new scene. Dummy? Oh, God. Seriously? File. New project. If it's an update. If it's in update, yes. Okay. So, let's just do 2D. Alright, serialized field test. Oh, we're gonna do a whole new Unity, aren't we? Alright. Did I reload the right scene? Let me check that. I think I did. Give me 1 sec here. Just check this out. Yeah. Okay, cool. But if you do something like start x equals 20, I think not, since the start will not be called. Did you change the variable back? Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, thanks. It was yeah, it was this guy. There you go. And I put it back to where it was. So yeah, thank you. And yeah, that's a good question to ask, because that would not be the first time I totally screwed something up like that. Alright, and let me close that one so I don't get confused. Let's go create test. Go. And toss him on there. Double click. Alright. So, if we go serialized field, and we'll just call it float x, and we'll say at start x is equal to 20. You know what? No, actually, wait. Oh crap! Stop hitting stuff. How do I want to do this? Okay, how about just numerator print x. We'll just say every okay. True. All right. So then while running, we'll say yield return new wait for seconds, and we'll just say 5 seconds so we don't do this for forever, run up too much stuff. And then we'll just say demog log x right. Okay. Range. Well, I know random range. I know, like, I mean, I use random range all the time. I use that, and I know that if you just do it like that, then it's going to be int, and then the 3 would never get called. It'd only be 1 to 2, versus like this, and then it would be a float. No, above serialized field. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you got fancy on the debug log command there. Okay. Put in range. Oh, for here? In place of the are you talking about in here? Like this? Or below that? Oops. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, so now I've just artificially limited it, so I've constrained it, rather, so any user cannot do anything besides that range, right? So you're just protecting, which I understand is a fantastic thing. Inspector will change it too. Gotcha. It's a fantastic thing if you have lots of people using your your code, of course. In my case, since it's just me, if I screw up, then I'm an idiot. But I get the purpose of that for sure, to make sure that whomever's changing values does not put in a value that's going to make your program go boom, right? Sweet. Okay. Wait for it. Done. Oh, shoot. It's a slider. That's slick. I didn't know you had that. That's pretty cool. Sweet. All right. So now what you're saying is if I play... Cool. Oh, and I got full screen. Stop. All right. So now we're... take it out of play. There you go. So now we got it started at 0, right? And if I put it 5.76, right? And if I stop it, it went back to 0. Wait. Start it up again? Does it go back to 5.7? It doesn't. There's more like hello world stuff. Tooltip. Oh, right. It's no when you stop the play mode. Or when you change the code in the script. Jeez. Alright. So if we say start, we'll say x is equal to 5. Gotcha. I was getting so excited with the slider, man. I just got shiny keys there. Okay. So we come in here. Right? And we're running. Yes. And then if I change this to like 7.2 and hit save, and it's thinking, and it still says 5. It's keeping its value is what it's doing. Okay. Okay. Oh, got it. So even though I changed it, it's not getting reflected here because it was a serialized field. So it's going to hang on to that 5. It's losing it and putting it back to 0? But it's still at 5, though. Alright, am I doing this wrong? Is this one on me? Alright, we'll start over here. It's not losing it. Okay, so then we started at 5, and even though I changed it in code, it's still retaining the old value, which was 5, and not updating to the 7.2 on that go-round. Is that correct? So it's 0 in non-play mode. But then if it... Okay. Then if it play, it goes to 7.2. Alright. If it's non-serialized, it would jump from 20 to 0 after recompile. Oh, okay. Gotcha. So, for example, if I do public, switch this back to 5. Yeah, what the heck? Alright, so now I got it 5, right? So if I change it to 22.1, what the heck? Right? Let it come back out. Oh, publics are serialized. Alright, so this is basically the same thing as if I just use serialized field, but public remains completely open even at runtime, right? So the serialized field keeps it locked down once it's compiled. Got it. Okay. Gotcha. Sweet. Okay, I got my head wrapped around that now. That is actually pretty cool, dude. Private plus no serialized field equals loses value. Got it. Private plus serialized field will not lose. Bingo. Understood. Sweet, dude. Thank you. Yeah. I see what you get about saying that, like, you know, some of the tutorials, though, out there would just not fully explain that and, you know, explain the benefit. I mean, I definitely say for a fact that, I mean, I've been parroting, you know, the serialized field kind of thing, but not having a full understanding of why that's a good thing to use. Serialized field also shows the private field in the inspector. Yeah, exactly, and that's the big thing to me too, right? Which, by the way, hello, Zerata, thanks for chiming in. Which you can hide with hide inspector. Oh my god! All right, now you're just throwing more stuff at me. You have to do that on a case-by-case basis, or you just do that right at the header. Yeah, hello, welcome, man. So, hide inspector individually, so it would go like this, or is that universal for the whole thing above? That looks like it's individual, right? Most people do like private rigid body, void start, rigid body, get component, rigid body, like that, loses value when recompiling. Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Which you'll actually see very few get components on my end. I do it right in the beginning, right, to grab scripts and stuff like that, access to other object scripts. But I sort of like got it beat into me at an early time that get components on anything except at start is sort of like a really terrible thing to do in terms of performance. But you can tell me otherwise. No, it's an attribute. Attributes are context sensitive, means the next thing below. Got it. Gotcha. Cool. Alright, I need to take that back out so I can have my damage duration. And I did put that value back, didn't I? Yeah, I did. 1.5. Cool. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much. Yes, but if the field of the get component is private and non-serializable, it will lose value when recompiling. Gotcha. So, I guess because the whole concept of recompiling is never much of an issue for me, because up until this point, 10 years worth of tinkering, all my recompiling happens when the game is inactive. Anyways, which results in errors when compiling. Gotcha. I guess because I'm so used to not my code, but third-party code crapping out every time I make any adjustment to script. So for me, I've just gotten used to the concept that there's no such thing as adjusting code during play mode, right? Which, I mean, absolutely mind-boggling that I just assumed that was something that you could not do, right? And not have Unity go boom. By the way, that recompiling and keeping the game state is called Hoter loading? Wow. Okay, didn't know that either. Didn't know you could do it. Didn't even know it had a name. Oh, hot. Oh, okay. Hot reloading. Okay. Yeah, I put an extra E in there somewhere. Hot reloading. That's cool. That is awesome. All right, but I guess it's something you can only do if you're not using any plugins, third-party plugins that are going to go boom on you. And I guess that's just been always my situation. Because once again, I'm artist versus coder. I've relied so heavily on so many plugins that I've become a victim of them, that's just never been really an option. You could always fix them yourself. You're funny. Oh, yeah, no. Dude, you do not understand how barely I'm able to get this code to work in the first place. So, going in and trying to fix others... No. Not an option as far as I'm concerned. Nice idea, but no. Just a whole bunch of no there. First thing I do when using third-party plugins is Control F. I don't use VS, so that shortcut is clean up code. Interesting. Okay. But yeah, I mean, dude, you have to understand. This is not even an issue of like you being on a different plane from me in terms of stuff. I mean, we're not even like talking same planet at this point, right? So, I mean, I do appreciate the concept, but me trying to tinker with someone else's plugin would just like hurt me. Benefit of using a $200 IDE. Yeah. Wait, is that... wait, you didn't mention which one. Was that the one that... There was one that was demoed at Unity Unite last year. Oh, Ryder. Okay. From JetBrains. Okay. Yeah, I think someone else was talking about that a while back. I'm so far behind, man. My transition to IDEs has always been, you know... So I started off using Unisite. I think Unisite was like the original one, right? Going back in the Unity 4 days. And I was like, I was all about Unisite. And then I had all my friends were making fun of me because I wouldn't let go of it. And they're going, no, dude, it's mono. You got to go mono develop. Why are you using Unisite? You're an idiot, right? It's kind of like, but it works, right? So then I finally move over to mono develop and finally get comfortable with mono develop. And everyone's going, idiot, why are you using mono develop, man? It's all VS, man. So I mean, I always feel like the poor idiot is like building the proper thing, only to have someone kind of go, "Wait, why'd you build that?" You know, that's so last year, man. I love them and use all of their IDEs. Yeah, sweet. So is it $200 one-time only purchase, or is that like you $200 per year license, whatever? Did you see the panel from Unite 2017 about scriptable objects and events? I looked at it, but I don't recall it offhand. Yeah, I remember that it's sort of like the sole purpose was to serve as sort of like a beacon to send out the information at the proper time, right? Sort of similar to Unity's animation. So sort of like just events on animation clips, but just in terms of scriptable objects that are doing that. Am I close? Is that kind of like in the ballpark? Ryder's like, oh wow, really? 140 euros a year? Okay. Jeez. Yeah, I don't know if I can justify that. I mean, I love the concept, but you can cancel and keep the current version forever. Gotcha. It's sort of like, you know, when people talk to me about animation stuff, you know, and then I say I'm using Maya, and they're like, wait, Maya's really expensive, and then I go, I get it, but you know, animation's my bread and butter, man. I've been an animator for 20 years, so for me, it is a viable tool. But for someone else, I would say, you know what, you know, Blender might be the best choice for you, right? For sure. It's like the old line from Caddyshack, you know. It's like, hey, Ty, I hear you have a pool. Yeah, I got a pool and a pond. The pond would be good for you. So, you know, in my case, you know, the pool, the pond might be good for me. Let's see if I can get that selected and deleted, like so. I love Maya and 3D Studio Max. Yeah. Actually, I use Maya LT, so it's so much cheaper. I did 3D animations for YouTube videos using Maya. Oh, sweet. Nice. Well, yeah, I've been using Maya for a kajillion years, you know. I mean, it's... I've been fortunate enough to have that as a paying day job on and off for 20 years now. So, and just for my home use, it's all about Maya LT because I don't care about rendering. If I want to render something, I bump it over into my old True Steady Lightwave 3D, which I still hold on to. So yeah, for me, my LT is just the inexpensive way to get animation out and into Unity. And I really do enjoy animating in Maya, much more so than any other program out there. Although I've never gotten a chance to use Presto. From what I understand, you know, Pixar's Presto animation tool is just the absolute greatest thing on the face of the earth. Unfortunately, the only way you can get a chance to use it is by being an employee there, which I've never actually applied. Render farms are cheap nowadays. Yeah, oh, that's true. That's true. But, and then, I mean, I've never really done, I mean, most of the stuff I've done, especially like from animation projects, right, is I just do the animation and I forward it on into the pipeline, and that becomes someone else's issue. So that's not really something I've really had to focus on much. You know, I mean, anything that I've animated has been smaller scale, so I've been able to do it just usually on a, well, I mean, and another thing about Lightwave too is that there's free nodes, right? Unlike Maya. Let's see. Can I cheat and reuse this? I can. Sweet. Just like that. ZBrush is also expensive as fork, but I wouldn't want to miss it. Yeah, that's actually my wife has a birthday coming up, and I'm finally convincing her. I'm actually gonna help get her ZBrush because she's been wanting to use it for forever, but just hasn't wanted to pull the trigger on the price. And I'm gonna like force her because I know once she starts playing with it, she's just gonna become obsessed with it. But I just can't quite push her. But yeah, absolutely fantastic tool. And the project files are huge. Yeah, I believe it. Absolutely believe it. Yeah, because I mean, you get so much detail, right? You know, you have to bake it down to something usable. One of my ZBrush projects is like, geez, 10 gig? Holy crap. That is absolutely crazy, man. But yeah, I mean, you can't argue with the results, right? You cannot argue with the results at all. I haven't really used ZBrush much myself, because once again, most of the stuff I've been doing is just models for games, and most of my games have been mobile, so I can get away with a smaller kind of scale. I still use Lightwave for modeling, and then I use Maya for animation, and I use 3D Coat to actually bust out the UVs because Lightwave still sucks when it comes to trying to do UVs. It was expensive too. I bet. Oh man. All right. It was more than the ZBrush license. Oh jeez. Yeah. Man. All right. Actually, I'm gonna do another restroom break. Hang tight, and I'll be back in just a second. All right. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Actually, I lost track of time. I didn't realize it was already after 6. I'm going to go for just a couple more minutes here, but I'm going to have to pack up just for no other reason. My dogs are they're staring at me. You guys can't see it, but I got 2 dogs that are staring at me kind of going, what? Look, you're the human. Why can't you tell time, man? It's dinner time. Why are you not feeding us? So I'm going to have to like wrap this up here pretty soon. Yeah, Subtext, man, thank you for all the input here and all the help on this stuff, man. That's completely a lot of that stuff is so beyond me, but it's totally fascinating. It just shows just how little I truly know about Unity. Just you know, I always joke that I know just enough to get this stupid game out the door, you know. But oh, you know what? Actually, I just realized my or no, that's just left over. Okay. Let me see. Do I want to? Maybe I'll bring these guys down a little bit. All right. Nah, I'm sure you know more than you think. Well, after 10 years of plugging away on this thing, I would like to think so, but then I watch a video, you know, And I'll give you one anecdote, right? A very funny anecdote. Like I said, I'm a big Lightwave user guy, right? And so funny thing, and I kind of feel this way frequently. So when I lived back in LA, we used to have frequent user group meetings, right? You're doing most of the Unity users, right? But I mean, I watch these videos and I'll discover things I never knew, right? So one of the cool things about the Lightwave user group is back in the day, one of the attendees was the only Dick Van Dyke. We're talking the Dick Van Dyke. He was fascinated with Lightwave, and he used to come to some of the meetings sometimes, right? And it would just, we would all be like in awe of him, but we'd all be polite. Nobody would run up and go, oh my God, right? We just like, treat him like one of the guys, right? But it was funny, this one guy, a very famous Lightwave guy named Dan Ablin, was doing a presentation, right? And he was showing some of the bells and whistles of Lightwave, and we're all just kind of watching, and learning, right? And then just like out of nowhere, you hear this voice go, I didn't know you could do that, right? And we're all just at the same time kind of going, that was just Dick Van Dyke saying that. That is just so cool, right? Anyways, the whole point of that story is the fact that I watch these videos all the time, right? And I'll see people dropping in code, and I'll just frequently kind of just do the Dick Van Dyke line going, didn't know you could do that, right? Serialized Field is a perfect example. I mean, I could literally show you the 5 previous games I've made, and, I have no idea how long Serialized Field has actually been incorporated. I don't know if it's a newer edition or if it's been around since the beginning, but it's literally something that I've only implemented over the last 2 months, right? But that's a perfect example of watching a video kind of going, oh crap, that looks like a cool thing. Let me try and plug it in, So for me, it's still a decade later, and I'm still like learning stuff, but still enjoying the hell out of it, man. I really do enjoy doing this. But I hate play testing before an update. Why didn't I add unit tests? Uh-oh. That's not good. Alright, so coming back to what I was playing with. So I spent all that time on the monitor and hated the end result, but now I have like this better looking kind of approach. So I finally worked this out. A better approach on how I want to do this. So I'm going to keep chasing that. So last over 2 hours spent play testing. Oh yeah? Wait. Around 2 hours spent. What, you mean that are gone, or just for not, or? Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. So you've been doing playtesting for the last 2 hours. Gotcha. Oh god. Yeah. I playtested the last 2 hours. Yeah. Well, that's kind of one of the things I like doing. So that's why I go to these conventions too. I do here in Las Vegas. There's a Level Up. And then sometimes I do the Amazing Comic-Con, but also San Diego Comic-Con. One of the main reasons I actually do that is for playtesting. Is I'll bring a game that's in development. In this case, it's going to be Tribbles, so it's a double win, right? So I'm going to be showing a game that's still in development, getting it tested and getting feedback, but also sort of like promoting the whole idea of going, hey guys, check this out. It's the world's very first video game starring Tribbles, right? And hopefully getting some exposure for the game as well. But of a 200,000 line of code game over. Jeez. Yeah, I don't think all of my 6 games combined come close to that number. God, I hope not. Maybe they do. I don't know. But that is crazy, man. That is crazy. But, so yeah, well, we had 6:20. My dogs are not happy with me, so I should probably wrap up here. But, Subtext, man. Hey, dude, let me just say again, thank you so much for keeping me company and chatting away, man. I've enjoyed it, and everyone else too, right? And we had Zeratar. Hey, if you're still there, man, thanks for the conversations, right? Thanks for hanging out. It was fun. Yeah, thanks, man. Hope you can come back too. I do these Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you can. Hey, you want to drop back and give me more lectures on stuff I need to learn, man? I'm all ears for sure. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I start at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, whatever that translates for you. But yeah, please come on out, and I'm going to be going for like another week or so. I may have to hunker down and get ready for Comic-Con, which is in middle July, but I'll be back right after that, and tell you guys how it all turned out. But yeah, man, thanks again. In the meantime, yeah, I'm gonna cut it off there and go make my dogs happy. I can only attend Fridays. Okay, cool. That's fine, man. Please do come back Friday, man. I will be here. I hope you can. But in the meantime, subtext. I work from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. Ouch! Wow, dude, that's tough. All right. Wow. Yeah, I've done night shift once in my life, which was back at Sony ImageWorks, and I don't want to repeat that. That was brutal. I did it for like 8 months, and yeah, I don't envy you that. But yeah, okay, next Friday, man. Night shift. Wait. For me, yeah, there was Stuart Little 2. I was working as a data wrangler. Was my first and last time at doing data wrangling stuff, like I was alluding to before, and this is way back in 2000. Oh, gotcha. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I had that reversed in my head, didn't I? Yeah, I was looking at 6 to 5, but you're saying 5 to 6. Wow, wait. Okay, that's insane. That's 13-hour days. No, you're right. I had a momentary bout of dyslexia there for a moment, but wait, so you're doing 13-hour shifts? Is that right? From 8 to 5. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Understood. Okay. But travel time is an hour and 20 minutes? Oh, jeez. That's not good. I had friends in LA that the worst one was a buddy of mine with no traffic. It was like 2.5 hour haul for him each way. More power to you, man. I would complain. Oh, public transportation? Oh, jeez. I would complain if it took me more than 20 minutes. I got really spoiled by living close to work. But yeah, and now, I mean, I'm I'm in the house, so I go nowhere. But with car, it would be 20 minutes. Wow. So, I mean, is that by choice or just because of the location you're at, that it's public transportation is, or getting a vehicle just not something you want to do or need to do? Don't have a driver's license yet. Fair enough. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. But I tried it and got in an accident. Oh, jeez, man. Sorry about that. That sucks. In a driving lesson. Oh, wow. All right. I'm giving you some homework. Have you ever heard Bob Newhart, the driving instructor? I don't know if you've ever heard it before, but you might get a kick out of it. If you've never heard it, let's see if I can find. Rushed into my back. Oh, geez. Okay, so it wasn't even your fault, though. Wait. They rushed into your back at 60 kilometers an hour? I mean, and you got penalized? Wait. So you were waiting in a red light. Someone rear ends you. And you failed the test because of that? That makes no sense. That's how... Alright. Oh, 1 second. So, here you go. I'm going to send you this. There you go. That is the legendary Bob Newhart doing a classic comedy bit called The Driving Instructor, which I heard as a little kid and still cracks me up every time I hear it. But his defense was, I thought you were driving. I didn't fail. I just was, oh my God, hospitalized for a weekend and could turn my head for over 3 months? Oh, dude, that's terrible. Jeez. I'm sorry, man. That's absolutely terrible luck. After that, I had fear and my license expired. Oh, God. Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I can completely sympathize and understand that, for sure. I can understand why you'd be shell-shocked and not want to, deal with it again. Wow. Well, I mean, at least with the public transportation. And here, our license is like 160 euros? No way, seriously? Jeez. So not a little bit of money. No, absolutely not. No, that's crazy, man. No, Nevada, I think it's like pocket change. You got $1.50 on you, you get a license here. Exaggerating, but still. But if you're doing public transportation, are you at least able to like take the laptop with you? 12 theory lessons? And approximately 15 driving lessons. Oh my god. Sounds like the person behind you is the one that actually needed the lessons. My god. Well, hopefully that hour and 20 time in... Yeah. My dogs are not happy. They're they're gonna start eating each other here in a second. He didn't even have his license with him. Oh my god, dude. Well, alright. I better like go feed my dogs before one of them kills the other one. Alright, man. Subtext. But yeah, dude. And he was like 20. Oh, jeez. That is a terrible story, man. Alright. Well, I mean, I hope, yeah. I hope things get better, and I hope you get to the point where you feel comfortable going off your license again. You know, I mean, I love mine, man. I love the freedom. But, jeez, man. Alright. Yeah, I'm on it. Alright, good luck with that, buddy. Alright, so I gotta cut it off here because my dogs just need the theory exam. Gotcha. Jeez, that's so much more sophisticated than what we have out here. But, alright. I'm going to head out and make my dogs happy. I gotta feed them. But, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Have a great day. Have yourself a great weekend, man. Thank you so much for hanging out, Subtext. I hope to see you again next Friday. And everyone else, thank you so much for hanging out. Yeah, thanks, man. And for those that can make it back, I will see you back on Monday. Be back here at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and keep plugging away in the meantime. So I have more to show. All right, guys, have yourselves a fantastic weekend. I will see you on Monday. All right, adios.